Joining the fight, Oheb rotated up as well. They're being outgunned here as Ultra Legends picks up a little bit of lead on that.
Yeah, a bit of a bad fight here. Ultra Legends even calling over the Kimmy to almost ensure that they win that fight at the very end. The cleanup was very, very good. Dark Lord honestly played an extremely strong game here. Oh, but they find or line.
Or the far side, it just happened. It happened. You know?
I mean, they needed to get something back, right? Because let's look at this one more time. Because in that fight alone, Carl TZ, I mean, the whole team of Liquid is looking to fight. They're looking to get as many possible kills as they can. While on the opposite end, Ultra Legends are looking to play for neutral objectives. If they're able to find these punishers like how Dark Lord does, then it's not too bad. It doesn't feel as awful.
Oh, bottom lane, a little bit of action here too. Looks like that was a jump out. We're still here on this replay, but there's a lot going on in the golden lane. So JP had to burn his Avatar of the Guardian. I think they were trying to make a play on Oheb here, but the rest of the team's going to be making their way. See if Ultra Legends still goes for this, or they just get some extra gold off the turret.
JP's here to try and alleviate the pressure, right? But I don't think they're going to commit too hard.
Yeah, they just clear this out. Minion's going to be cleared out, but they won't force a fight anyway. JP thrown out against the team. Tops to revitalize. Carl TZ will now join the fight. They're going to get disengaged, though, with Guiding Wind, so they're fine. Ultra Legends will escape that situation.
Okay, nicely done, nicely done. Because in terms of priority, it's very clear that Team Liquid want to play towards the top side of the map. They want to make sure that Sanford can do whatever he wants, right? They want him to have a gigantic lead against Dark Lord. But despite that, that bottom side for Ultra Legends, recognizing, hey, if they want to win on that top side, sure, but if we send enough people down to the bottom, we can hurt Oheb.
Okay, second turtle of the game up. They're going to go in again with the taunt. They force out the circling eagle. Still going to be breaking it out, but Rice Crim already going to fall now. Sanford up in the front of it all. Dark Lord, though, goes in with the final slash. He finds Oheb, and Pharaoh will pick up a kill. Now Sanford has to flicker out. Ultra Legends going toe-to-toe here with Team Liquid.
And they're doing a phenomenal job, right? A lot of battle spells burned from the side of Team Liquid. The tempo in favor of Ultra Legends. And despite everything that has happened in the early games to try and hurt the laners, it feels like Ultra Legends maintain this lead. So far, it's an ult-dependent game, right? Keep an eye on those green dots on the side because we're going to go in potentially for one more fight. I don't know if Carl wants to be anywhere close to this turtle right now.
Yeah, we still got Oheb down at the bottom. Dark Lord's gonna flicker out. Carl's looking for a kill himself. We'll find Dark Lord, a revitalized pop from JP. They might reinitiate it. Sanford's up in the front of it all. Throwboy pops the heavy spin, though. Sanford in trouble, and Rice Crim still up. As Carl TZ looks to get the kill, goes in, finally clears it out. JP jumps in, can't land the taunt, though, so he's whittled down at 1 HP. Turtle's still for the taking. Oheb, now part of the fight, will force Ultra Legends back. So Team Liquid wanted that turtle. They fought for it.
Again, they're not looking to go toe-to-toe in terms of, I will out-retry you. I just need to get a man advantage. And you can see, right, Carl TZ, he needs to go in and out of these fights. He needs to start initiating for his squad. Now, we're going to call for a tech pause here. Not entirely sure what is going on. We'll keep you guys updated as the information starts streaming in. But Naisu, the way that this fights have been going, I think that Ultra Legends, right, they saw Carl kind of go into the middle of the fight. They realized, hey, this is a bait. We need to wait for an opportunity to jump with the heavy spin. And then the formation started to break once the heavy spin started to come out.
You see what I mean, though? It's like, it's an interesting thing with this because when you look at the fights break out, Ultra Legends does really good at kind of pushing and pulling. That's what the lineup is going to do for them, especially when you have a Matilda on your side. I just feel like sometimes, like I was expecting from the draft, they get a little too split is starting to figure that out. As we see each fight break out, they're lining things up. And meanwhile, Oheb tried joining that fight, but he was just a little bit too late to the party. He did just pick up a Sky Piercer as well before we had this. And so that's the main thing. Is he going to be able to start to get stacks? Because Oheb is someone that they really want to watch out for as this game continues on here. He's pretty much had an opportunity to just go ahead and farm up, albeit that little bit of pressure. Well, Pharaoh already trying to get out of there with a flicker. So this is the attention now on this bottom side.
It's clear that Sanji has enough damage despite only just completing his first item. He should be able to, pick up kills whenever he feels like it. But more importantly, they're trying to unlock Oheb. They realize that, hey, Sanford can get into the middle of these fights, but this Matilda is a little too annoying. Quinnock, especially with the Fury of the Phoenix, on top of the heavy spin, there's just a lot of disengage from the side of Ultra Legends. The only other way to beat them is if you can chase them down, and they definitely need that Death Sonata to do so. That slow is such an important tool.
Those are two big item pickups too here, defensively for Team Liquid. So that's a Radiant Armor for each, one for Sanford and one for JP. They are the guys that we see, putting themselves into these fights as they have to. Couple shots for Rice Krim. Oheb looking for that. Go, Rice Krim, one hit away. He'll actually survive it.
Oh,
so it looked close there.
Yeah, Oheb, the spacing just wasn't there. He thought he killed him 2 times and just backed off just before the shots actually connected. But it's totally okay, right? Because now they've already put some good damage on that mid-tier 1. Maltese's already a level 12. He's out-farming Throwboy as expected. But this 3-level lead off of that initial fight, this is the Team Liquid that we know and love.
Yeah, so they have, these small situations have compounded at this point up to a 3,000 gold lead. They're going to fight once again. A Feathered Airstrike drop down. They want to clear out this mid lane. Throwboy jumping into the fray, pops the heavy spin, and once again, everyone thrown around. Throwboy's going to go down and jump into the turret from JP. He'll get the Unbreakable off, and Pharaoh goes down. Dark Lord takes the front of the damage as Oheb picks up a kill. They're going to pick up the turret in mid lane off of it.
And now the experience for Team Liquid is starting to shine through. Ultra Legends are reacting too much to what Team Liquid is trying to do. Preemptively, right? They need to wait just a little bit longer. If they waited for a half second, they would understand that even Team Liquid doesn't really want to put themselves in a compromised position. Because look at this, right? We see the initial knockup coming in from Sanford, but he doesn't take the Infernal Pursuit. As soon as we see Zitian drop down the Fury of the Phoenix, it felt like Ultra Legends had to make something out of it, right? It's a super long cooldown. They don't want to give another turtle away. They force the fight, and that's when Team Liquid are in full control. They force you into these scenarios as long as you react.
Yeah, really difficult to kind of see how those fights break out for Ultra Legends, because you're seeing where that kind of patience that we saw from Team Liquid earlier on in the game has compounded up to this point. They're able to go ahead and just kind of outgun and out-survive a lot of the members right now. Again, they're going to try to force them off of this tier 2 turret. So with this kind of lead, it's up to Team Liquid to just kind of take what they want, and we're seeing Ultra Legends try to maybe respond to that and be a little hesitant.
They're extremely hesitant, right? They saw what happened in that last fight. They reacted too much to it. And now with that 3-level lead, it's even clearer that Throwboy can't... Oh, hold on.
Whoa, JP jumping into the turret. It's going to get stunned for the Fury of the Phoenix. Pops the Revitalize, but will go down anyway. Sanji dropping down, covering fire with a Feathered Airstrike. And Carl TZ goes in, cleans up a couple kills, gets a double. Does enough damage under the turret. They're under the tier 3. They don't care. Oheb goes in, gets a double himself. Team Liquid.
That was too clean. That was too clean. Ultra Legends had the correct idea. Take out JP, take out Sanford, separate the front line and the back line. And then you have an opportunity to force Carl, force Oheb in positions where they need to go out of their way and overextend to make it happen. But Team Liquid, they've got the mechanics to back themselves up. They have the lead to make sure that these waves are fully utilized, especially for someone like Carl, because Lancelot, he loves those waves.
Yeah, it's something to be expected, I guess, with a Lancelot where you're under like tier 2, maybe tier 3, but then Oheb jumping in on the action too. That just shows once again that they have gone into the Stampede form, this form that they're used to showing in a lot of the competitions that we've seen Team Liquid play in. So this gives them a massive lead. This is going to be a Lord in their hands. And Ultra Legends is going to have to hang on here.
Hey, man, when the SSJ, the trio, takes some damage, that's when you call in the baby cakes. And so far, it's working out perfectly. Oh, my God.
Daddy JP jumping on in, taking out Throwboy. He's going to be fine. Pops to Revitalize. They're going to work on this turret. Shield's going to go down. Dark Lord won't find that final slash either. So they have to get ready. Even without the Lord, Team Liquid marching into the base, looking to end game 1 in a quick fashion. Top turret going to be worked on, and Ultra Legends will hold on for as long as they can.
They know how to push up the pace. 12K gold lead. This is a checkmate scenario unless Ultra Legends can make it to 42. But every single time they walk out, that Feathered Airstrike reminds them you can't walk up.
Okay, that without the Feather Airstrike, I don't know if Team Liquid's going to be able to end the game unless they can turn this fight completely in their favor. Dark Lord could be in trouble. Final Slash going to be used. Has to flicker defensively. Carl TZ doing work under the turret. Won't find the kill though, so Lord's still going to be worked on, and that's fine for Ultra Legends. It looks like they found themselves staying in the game.
Okay, we need to pull out the item list. I'm curious to see whether Rice Cream has the... Oh, hold on. Another Feather Airstrike coming up because we're not just standing too close for comfort.
Again, jumping on in, Flicker Burn, forcing the fight on the turret. JP will get taken out, separated from the team. Sanford down the front of all. Dark Lord also low. Forced out a Flicker, but Oheb still going to be unleashing. Finds a kill on Dark Lord. There's another defensive Flicker from Ultra Legends, but they're still holding Team Liquid at bay from ending the game. But all base turrets will be worked on here. Sanji, one hit away on that turret. It won't go down just yet. And Throwboy taking a little trip there with the guiding wind.
Sanji, last auto attack, gonna take out the final inhibitor from Ultra Legends. This is such a difficult position because Ultra Legends have to make choices, especially when you're pushed in at checkmate angle. You have to decide, do I lose inhibitors or do I lose the game? And 100% of the time, teams will say, I would rather lose an inhibitor than the game. They do buy a little bit of time for themselves, but the inevitable is coming. We look at the items and quickly realize that, hey, a Sky Piercer pickup coming in from Pharaoh. Kind of interesting here, a little dangerous, I'm not gonna lie, but we do see that the Flask of Oasis has already been complete, and that's been why we've been seeing more aggressive moves from Dark Lord.
Well, these are also still the aggressions from Team Liquid. Carl TZ going on the backside. They're forcing Chaos alone. A jump from JP. Finds multiple members. Throwboy's going to be gone, and they're going to work on Dark Lord next. Dark Lord falls. They'll come in for the cleanup as Team Liquid will go ahead and take game one in this best of three.
Really nicely done from Team Liquid. We get to see what they are all about. Tempo-based combat. They have the lead. They will press it down your throat until they have checkmate angle. But Ultra Legends, that early game, honestly, not that bad. They were really going toe-to-toe with these guys. TLPH probably wasn't expecting them to be as confrontational.
Yeah, I mean, they had the utility-heavy, very tanky early game lineup that is designed to mess up early game aggressive rotations. But there was one thing that Ultra Legends forgot. Taking care of their mid-game power spike. I feel like they were a little bit too early with going for the 5-man rotations. Because even though Pharaoh had the lead up against Oheb at one point, since Oheb went to, okay, you guys are going to stick us 5? Okay, 4 members of my team are going to go. I'm just going to farm. Pharaoh was a little bit too busy joining the rest of the team.
I mean, I got to give it to Ultra Legends, right? I don't mind teams going for these 5-man rotations, like calling in Pharaoh to kind of get involved. If he gets a single assist, it's not too bad if you're giving half away your gold shielding over to Oheb, considering that you could also get a bit more from that mid lane at the same time. But here's the thing, right? If we're talking about the micro, I think the biggest problem we saw from Ultra Legends was the overcommitment.
Yeah.
Not only the overcommitment, but kind of just throwing everything at the wall. And the question is, but why, right?
I was going to say, Gideon, like, and part of that, you know, pun intended or not, Throwboy was literally throwing himself into a lot of these fights because he was maybe the guy that wanted to go ahead and split them up or try to set things up. But like I was saying, you have so much utility that maybe it's almost just an overload, right? And a lot of the times when we see these later fights towards that mid game, towards the late game, it was Team Liquid just knowing that power spike timing that they worked against. They knew that once certain utility was used, then they could actually respond to it really well and collapse down. And I think they saved some of their major crowd control, whether that was JP jumping in towards the back, Carl TZ making that angle with the Lancelot is what worked out so well for them.
I think it's the tunnel vision that really hurts me when I see a composition like this. Because again, you have an Arlot who literally has everybody on your side, on your composition, to trigger your passive, which is amazing. That means you get to use that vengeance basically for free all the time, but he's never the first in the fight. Every single time we see Throwboy come in, make that initiation, it looks good. Zitian suddenly drops her out, and you're like, but why? You could hold that for a little bit longer. And even Kimmy as well, with the traction pulse, you're looking specifically for the feathered airstrike 90% of the time. You're not looking at using it as a quote-unquote initiation tool, more so to disengage.
Yeah, it felt like all the abilities that Ultra Legends were throwing, it's as if they were acting that they already had a high damage carry online and ready to go.
Yeah.
But then, as we saw early on, yes, again, you delayed the eventual power spike of the Team Liquid lineup, but then you didn't set up Pharaoh enough for success. Your one core damage dealer. Again, Liquid's lineup has 3 core damage dealers on them. The Granger, the Farsa, and the Lancelot.
And that's why I say it was so, you know, in a sense where you were allowed to be that trigger happy Farsa. You know, you can just go ahead and drop down the Feathered Airstrike every single time it's up. And that's what we saw Sanji do, because he knows that, all right, Carl Tizzy, no head, they can go ahead and clean up, or they can go ahead and even have enough damage that if he doesn't have the Feathered Airstrike, and it's a pretty quick cooldown later on towards the end of the game, where he was fine.
Yeah, I have to say though, for the lineup of Ultra Legends, I do like what I saw for the first 2 to 3 fights. You could tell okay, wow, Dark Lord is very clear in his role here of when he's going to use his final slash. All right. But then we didn't see the progression of that, the growth of that. Their strategies were great for the early game in terms of delaying the tempo. But then once it got to the mid game, once Liquid has items, you're gonna have to change things up.
Well, here's the thing, right? That's where we see the big difference in experience between both of these squads. We saw the Team Liquid with the lineup that they had. They're like, oh, it's very topside heavy. EXP should technically smash, right? Samford should be winning against Dark Lord in the lane matchup alone. And therefore, with a little bit of help coming in from Sanji and the San start working together, you know how that usually pans out. But that wasn't the case this time, right? And I think Liquid recognized that very, very quickly. We saw the Steel Leggings almost bought immediately from the side of Samford. He could have gone into War Axe and been a true damage dealer, but there wasn't enough of a snowball, and the situations weren't working out during these turtle fights. So they started moving down to the bottom side. We didn't see that from Ultra Legends. Arlet could have been the main damage source dealer coming in from early to mid, and I think that would have been a huge game changer as long as they understand how their comp works. You need that Arlet to be in the middle of that fight. You need to start throwing your abilities out after he's kind of consumed all those stacks.
Yeah. Now I know Team Liquid won in this one, but nice. I feel like early on, you could sense a little bit of frustration with Liquid. There were some slightly off timings with their entries.
I want to say I expect that for day one for a lot of teams, honestly.
To be fair,
you know, they've been scrimming, they've been preparing, they've been in their own respective boot camps. But ultimately, when you get to the tournament, you know, I kind of expect some of to dust off whatever cobwebs they would have. I don't know if these guys still have any cobwebs, but you know, but also just adjusting to the tournament setting and being on these devices and everything else. So, yeah, maybe. But I think it's expected for all the teams that will be competing from Group A and Group B. Now, I do believe that with what Ultra Legends showed in the early game, there's some promise there, and hopefully they're not too shaken on how, you know, the mid to late game just went out of their hands so quickly, because again, Team Liquid is known for that. It is known for getting into what we call that stampede form, and they just go and end games like this. I mean, you know, how do you reset and adjust from that, I think, is one of the biggest things for Ultra Legends here.
Yeah, hopefully if Ultra Legends decides to go for a draft similar to this, they need one more carry with them. They need something to supplement a little bit of early to mid game damage so that your mid to the late game transition isn't as harsh when the opposing team has already power spiked.
Which is why I didn't like their second half of the draft, right? I love that first half of the draft. They still kept it a little bit more flexible. However, coming into the second half, it's like, man, you're really pushing yourself in a corner, and you're highly dependent on your mechanics. As you can see, they can push buttons, but it's also clear that they're a little immature at how they kind of make the read on the game in comparison to Team Liquid, who is like shifting attentions, are able to kind of turn things around, and more so play around that tempo, which is something that Ultra Legends needed to do for a composition like this.
Yeah, I feel like the Matilda pick actually in the second phase was a little bit too laser focused on what JP could pick. Yeah. It's like they were thinking more about, let's take away a JP hero, than what else do we need for us.
And what was their last one? Was the Zetian, right?
Yeah, it was the Zetian, yes.
What would have worked better than, you know, in the mid lane against a Farsa?
Well, personally for me, I think Zetian is okay in these types of matchups. She has enough range to not have to like forcefully take trades against the Farsa in the laning stages. She feather airstrikes, you press your ult. That's basically the general gist of it. I think that the order of picks should have changed. They should have picked the Zetian first, and then afterwards hold up and say, we already see the Lancelot, so it doesn't really make sense if we do see the Matilda get paired over on the opposite side for Liquid. Liquid, and they could have responded later down the line. So again, that's just me personally. They could have started switching things up, put Arla into the support section, then put the Akai into the EXP, and then pick a Fredrin up for themselves if they wanted to, or more damage oriented, kind of up to them.
Yeah, that's it for our takes for game number 1. Remember, this is a best of 3, so we have potentially 2 more coming up. There are a lot of teams here in MSC and a lot of journeys to lead to where we are today, and this is the journeys of one of those teams.
Hi guys, I'm Oheb, the gold laner of Team Liquid Philippines. Being here in EWC 2025 feels amazing because it's my first time being here, and I think we have a great chance at getting the trophy for the Philippines.
Very excited to have them back on the stage. More importantly, I think it's great to see that this is one of the few titles that they are looking to conquer, right?
I think this is not the strongest form of Team Liquid yet because we haven't won an EWC title yet. If we win this EWC in 2025, I can confidently say that this is the strongest form of Team Liquid. My team now makes me feel like I belong to the team, and we're so close and connected to each other that even if we don't talk to each other in comms in game, we just know what we're gonna do.
This a new age in MLBB. Brusco goes down, there was a blaze in the skies, but it's too late. The cavalry reclaim the throne, stampeding through Stallion.
I think this is the year that we might have a shot at winning the MSC title.
My expectations for Team Liquid? Yeah, I guess that's a little bit of a fearless forecast. If you ask me, my expectations for them, yeah, but I don't want to jinx it anymore, so I'm not going to expound on that. So, yeah, Team Liquid was still humble as ever, even Oheb admitting that they don't want to say this is their strongest form until they win the championship. But you gotta admit, they're looking pretty dang good so far.
I think looking good is one thing, but we need to see them be really stretched, right? I think that's the only time we're going to really be able to tell whether they are in their prime form. And so far, even a couple of missed mechanics here and there, like really is like, this is the first game. Let's just warm up the fingers a little bit, get the joints going.
Yeah, that's what I think. But nonetheless, Team Liquid Philippines, you guys have seen it all around. A lot of people have them, at that top spot, if not the top 2, top 3. And so far from what we've seen, I think, especially when we get through a couple of their games, I think that's really going to be able to gauge just how strong they are. And that can be said for a lot of the teams here that are competing. But again, this is the group with the 6 champions. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's for all of Group A.
Yeah. We all know that we are in the middle of a massive international event right now, but in your games, there is also a great event going on as well with the Dino Planet event for All-Star 2025. It's been going on since June. If you haven't logged on, you're really going to have to catch up. There's a mini game in there with a little dinosaur hopping around. If you want to get a really sick Popple and Koopa skin, go ahead and pick it up. But yeah, join us for the event. There's a lot of good prizes, a lot of surprises in the map, so check that out. Now, as we head into game number 2 for Ultra Legends, do you think there's enough room in there that we could see a surprise here? Are they gonna suddenly show a different hand, maybe something that they're saving a little bit later in the tournament? Because, come on, what better way to make a statement than to take a game from Team Liquid in the very first match of MSC 2025 group stages, right? Do you show your hand now, or what? What does Ultra Legends need to do here?
Well, based on what we've seen in game number 1, I think, play a highly early game composition. If you're going to make those 5-man rotations, really make it count. At the end of the day, it's going to be boiled down to simple MOBA fundamentals, right? Trade well, be effective, and if you can close out the game really, really fast against Team Liquid, that would kind of be ideal.
I think their early game already from game 1 was like pretty impressive. I think for a lot of people that didn't get to watch them at all, we're probably sitting there at home and be like, wow, okay, they do have some fight in them. So I would love to see that be the priority in a way, and you can already see that happening, right? First, right out of the gate, let's go ahead and ban that Lancelot. Take him out of the picture.
Well, I feel like there's a little bit too much of a prio ban there, but I mean, big respect begets respect. Sometimes you just really got to take it out, but in Interesting. That opens up a massive pool of heroes available now.
It does open up a massive pool, but I think the real question is where are the priorities, right? TLPH, first off, getting rid of the Boxia, totally okay. I want to see whether Ultra Legends, because what we see from very fresh and new teams coming down to not only international stage, but also professional play, is that they tend to have the habit of, if we ban it on red side, we're also going to ban it on blue side. And it seems to be the case here as well, right? Get rid of the Uranus, let's see. If the next bans are looking along the lines of like, what are the biggest, was Phoveus that big of a problem? I felt like they handled Sanford pretty well, despite the bad matchup.
I think the Phoveus, like you don't need to ban him out. Do they still go or do they want to prioritize maybe the Jushin? Like, is that maybe the plan here? I don't know if that's the first pick priority.
Be, if they did it on red side, there's a chance that they do it on blue side too.
Let's see if they do decide to go for that. A Uranus ban, even though you're on the blue side. Usually, if available, teams on the blue side would want to pick up the Uranus at the EXP lane right away. Very first pick, but with them taking it out, what are they trying to signal? That they are going to be leaning a little bit more towards the Assassins now? That they want freedom in the jungle to just farm?
I think they still want the Arlet. That's my suspicion here. I don't know whether it's going to be first pick worthy. Oh, but then they also get rid of the Kimmy too, so I guess they could be looking for like Farsa opener against TLPH, kind of, rip the page out of their book, see how it works for them.
It's two strong first pick options taken away in the blue side for Ultra Legends. So maybe they're trying to whittle down what TLPH could get on the swing back with the first two picks on the red side. Team Liquid takes out the Wan.
They take the Farsa.
They take away the Farsa.
That means Kalia is going to be open for the side of TLPH, though.
Yeah.
So again, it really boils down to where is your priority in terms of the meta picks. I think the Farsa opener is okay. I would have preferred the Kalia just a little bit more, mainly because of the way that they interact. The pick-off styles of compositions are really, really good, but I think Ultra Legends might be thinking a little bit ahead, right? If you get the Kalia, you still need a big damage dealer, and usually it's paired up with the Farsa. So you just take one component away.
So Liquid could go pick up a Hayabusa for Carltease if they want to. They're not going to lean in on that. They go for Juice and Arlott. Lots of control from Liquid.
Yeah, take the control. I don't know, this is in a way a little swap from what we saw in game one, at least with the maybe overall arcing game plan of the composition, because you get an Arlott, you get a Jushin, you get a ton of utility yourselves with those. And then for Ultra Legends, it looks like they might be leaning towards that damage-centric lineup with the Farsa already. We'll see how they go ahead and build the rest of this first phase out. They also take the Granger, because I was almost expecting the Granger to get picked up in that first couple picks from TLPH to go over to OHEB, but they go Phoveus Granger.
Oh no.
Are you worried?
I am worried because I think that TLPH, they're going to throw Arlott into the support position. They can get the CC now to get a winning matchup into the Phoveus, but that might not necessarily work out for the comp, right? Because there's still the possibility that, hey, even if Arlott isn't thrown into the EXP, we could pick up Fredrin for ourselves, and now we have a really deadly mid-trio to kind of move across the map and just basically CC people to the ground, and every time you CC, you get free damage.
Yeah, so I think Team Liquid are weighing the options of whether or not they're going to pick up the Fredrin now, so they get the Fredrin Arlott combo alongside the Juicin. Or, as we tossed up in the air earlier, they pick up the Hayabusa for Carltease, who now has an easy backline access. So Ultra Legends, hopefully their comms are on point, because if they send their Phoveus and whatever the roamer is going to be a little bit too early, Carltease is going to be eating good in the back with the Granger and the Farsa being left open.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you ban out as a Lancelot. He's still going to go for an Assassin if he can. He goes to Hayabusa, who's working great for this game plan against a Farsa and a Granger. So, yeah, like you mentioned, that's something that Ultra Legends is going to want to have to keep in track of. So, maybe is the God of Conscious viable here for them, or at least another tanky hero to go ahead and help protect that backline if they have to, or you kind of have to juggle the Phoveus and whatever other tanky member you have. Maybe it's still utility jungle they go with.
Yeah, I think Gatot and Juicin together in the mid would be good. Good harass.
Yeah.
At the same time, it's a good bridge.
So smart. TLPH are making sure that their options are extremely wide here, right? Because I feel like if they got rid of the Gatot, I feel like the onus is on Ultra Legends to get rid of the Gatot, but the Chom to make sure that the mid lane is almost guaranteed to be within their control, depending on what that mid duo is going to be looking like. Concussive Blast style of supports come to the forefront of my mind, right? If they want Kalia, they can absolutely do it too. But the question is, where's the damage going to come from? And I think that's the biggest problem that I have if TLPH are thinking along those lines. I think they're not even going to touch Kalia, to be be fair, for this upcoming round. But we'll see. Ultra Legends now getting rid of the Moskov on their side. Priority going over to TLPH on red side for the second phase.
What does Oheb play?
He's got like a good amount of options here still.
Irithil's banned out, Moskov, Kimmy, Granger's taken. Does he actually go the Harith, who hasn't worked? I know you guys. Oh, is it you, Ryan Moore, that's not a fan of the Harith?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of
You're
that.
not a fan of the Harith.
He can still play Bruno or Beatrix, to be fair. If he goes Beatrix, it's almost guaranteed to be Kalia on the other side, or they can pick up Kalia now, and that's the signal.
But there's so much reach on the side of Ultra Legends that either a Bruno or a Carry, which are like on the top of my list right now, is going to have a lot of difficulty. And considering that you don't see the roam yet for Ultra Legends, best to save
signal.
the gold pick
pick.
for Oheb last.
I think for now, it's pretty straightforward what the composition wants to do, right? I'm expecting Beatrix at the very end for TLPH. Ultra Legends.
Harith.
Very nice. Oh, they go for Harith instead?
I threw it out there.
Yep.
They want to go for damage diversity. I guess they do see the joy on the opposite end. Tigreal is also a little annoying to deal with, but I think Ultra Legends, very standard like Southeast Asian style of composition that we're very used to seeing in our own MPLs.
Yep. I like the draft shown off by these two teams, Ultra Legends. Let's see if they'll be able to execute. Gideon and Naisu, you guys have a little bit more time to expound, and well, you're going to be casting. I'm just going to be watching.
All right, no worries, man. You enjoy being a fan for now. You and me, Naisu, we're going to be heading on over to game number 2 in just a little bit, but looking and breaking down these final compositions. What do you think about TLPH? Because I think that's the biggest question mark with the way that they were positioning themselves. It's like, we could have some really nice combos. Yes, it does come at a cost, but I don't think it's that bad if we play well.
I like it, man. I like TLPH because they have pick-off potential with the Kalea, and you guys mentioned that quite a bit through the draft. But then you can fight really well into a Final/Zaman Force combination, and then you have a Jushin to help set that up. So I like TLPH's draft here.
Okay, let's head on into it. The Midseason Cup 2025 continues here at the Esports World Cup live in Riyadh. The second match between Ultra Legends, now on the blue side, faced off against TLPH on the red side. Man, blue on blue.
That's okay. Wait, what about you, Gideon? Where are you? What do you think here? Who are you signing with here?
I think my biggest problem is the lack of potential damage from the side of Team Liquid, right? Like, I agree that Carl TZ is looking for these like one-off pickups,
right?
But then when the fight is done, what happens then, right?
Yeah.
If Sanji ends up collapsing in the middle of that fight, if Oheb, who's probably not going to participate for at least 9 minutes. Whoa,
JP getting really close. First blood for Throwboy. Ultra Legends will pick up an early kill from JP.
And all this because overextending on a Lithal Wanderer. It was a little strange, not gonna lie, but hey, still recoverable.
Okay, Throwboy once again looking for Sanford. Will get the flicker, uses the retribution as well. Still gonna be going. Couple hits away for Sanford. Oh, Throwboy picks up another kill. He's 2-0 early on.
He's 2-0. He ends up missing a cart minion, which is gonna really suck for him. I mean, what to do? What poor Sanford can't do much about it. Let's see how Ultra Legends continue to play because this is whoa. Okay. All right. Bit of a mistake there coming up from Kunok. Wasn't expecting him to die, but I thought he had wings by wings, so a little unfortunate there.
Yeah. Up here, up top, Oheb delaying, and there's the shadow kill from Carl TZ. The timing on point. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, JP goes down again, but still, Sanford joining the fight now. Dark Lord takes a couple hits. Won't be able to survive that, though, as Sanford now converts. So Team Liquid finding their own, I guess, through this aggression. Sanford could be in trouble, gets thrown into the turret, takes a shot, and will fall.
Oh, Sanford, he's a little sad about it. Not level 4.
Oh, under the turret, Oheb, 1v1. Farrell, well, he's going to be fine. And there is Throwboy to punish Oheb. So we see Team Liquid being very aggressive here early on, Gideon.
Yeah, I see the idea that Team Liquid is going for at this point. But hey, I mean, the meta has kind of shifted. Unfortunately, Old Harith probably would have gotten killed there. So I'm just saying, Old Harith would have been totally fine. But I think that Team Liquid is trying to kind of pull Ultra Legends apart, right? Really get them heated up on these matchups. Because in terms of what they are losing, despite the solo laners getting kind of shafted here, it doesn't really matter, right? Because Sanford, at the end of the day, he's not a main damage dealer. He's either a cleanup or a big initiator. Carl TZ has been able to progressively get more and more farm. Sanji is the one who's not dying and has the full level lead. And look, Kunok, again, he's trying, but every single time Carl shows up, he's forced to use an ability.
Yeah, and every time that flicker is down, the timing is going to be there for Team Liquid to go ahead and punish it once again. So now up here in the gold lane, Pharaoh, who won't escape that one? JP comes in to make sure They secure that kill, so Oheb, JP doing work. Still a minute away on the objective, though, so Team Liquid will go ahead and continue to put pressure up here on the turret for now.
Now, most people... Oh, wait, hold on. Let's see how this plays out.
Sanji could be in trouble here. Throwboy has quite a bit of damage, but enough crowd control will keep him alive. Sanji relying on the team here. Great Tsunami Slam. Now Oheb waiting for the rest of the team. Drops the Zaman Force. Rice Crim forced off of the turret. Farah here trying to keep it up together. They do.
And now they back away. I love how Team Liquid is playing this, right? Pull them apart, and people know their matchups here. Don't get me wrong. Sanford knows that he's basically not winning his matchup, and that's totally fine.
Whoa! The smooth final slash into the mid lane. Be able to pick up Quanok. Oh boy, I don't know. He's going to jump in for Sanji. Pops the beats here. Sanford again with a stun, and there's the slam forward. But Throwboy, there's an implosion. Still in the mid lane, going to be forced out. Oh, Sanford will get punished for earlier on. Dark Lord still a part of the fight. I don't think they can pick up a kill, though. He's tanky enough. The rest of Ultra Legends join in the mid lane. They're going to drop down the Feathered Airstrike. JP trying to get some distance, but will fall anyway. A good fight back from Ultra Legends.
So very scrappy here. Really nicely played by Dark Lord. He was able to save his jungler by knocking up Sanji, so he wasn't able to get that final pickup onto Throwboy. Either way, just look at how this game is playing out, right? It's chaotic on purpose by design.
Dropping the Zaman Force. Couple of the members. TLPH, final slash. Will find Quanok. Quanok won't be able to escape as he falls now. So they were making a way up here towards Oheb, but they'll lose one member for Ultra Legends.
Yeah, they've manipulated the way Ultra Legends are looking to play, right? They want to stay on this top side as much as possible. They gave up that turtle so they can get Carl TC to get the initial push down on the bottom side, and that's how they want to play.
Again, implosion to try to counterplay this. A flicker to stay alive. Rice Crim's going to be fine. A lot of this back and forth with the abilities and the ultimates. So far, still a lot of attention up there on top. Carl TZ gonna make his way here towards Throwboy. Good drop of the beat. Still, they're gonna fight it out. Shadow kill gonna be used, and Carl TZ is gonna have to get out of here. He's focused down under half health. Dark Lord jumping back in, goes back with Quad Shadow, and will survive for now. Pops the rejuvenate, and Throwboy forced out. Sanji could be in bad position now as he tried to help Carl TZ. Still trying to bob and weave through it, but can't survive as Dark Lord will take him down under the tier 2.
That one, bit of a mistake from Team Liquid's side that they needed him to decide whether to disengage or not. But I think Sanji was confident he could take out Throwboy, and that ended up putting him in a pretty awkward spot. Regardless, Oheb is going to get a T1 on top side. They've unlocked him, and now the main win condition for the side of Team Liquid is now on the loose.
This is a very different Throwboy in game 2. And maybe that's just the fact that he's on a different style of hero, you know, for the jungle. But he's a lot more aggressive. He can be a lot more of value, I feel like, on this Joy. Once again, the mid lane is going to be the focus. Rise Crim doesn't have a flicker, so don't expect a surprise implosion from him just yet. Feathered Airstrike. Oh, a huge final slash from Sanford again. They're going to jump in, collapsing down on Dark Lord, and you can't withstand the damage. It's a wipeout from Team Liquid.
And what did I say? Doesn't matter how badly Sanford loses, as long as he lands a good final slash, the fight's basically done for. Really good culmination of abilities here. Let's just watch it one more time. This is after the final slash. The big problem is that if Dark Lord isn't able to separate the battle lines, really create space for his team, that's when we see Ultra Legends start to break in formation. Rice Cream can look for these big engages, but if Quanok gets caught, their main anchor starts to fall. Right now, Ultra Legends need to recognize that Quanok is getting highly targeted, so they need to make sure that Pharaoh and Quanok are on 2 separate angles, if not, have some decent space in between each other.
Okay, they do take this orange buff. A final slash on Dark Lord. They're gonna go on the retreat here. I'm not sure if this is where they want to fight, but Throwboy already quite low. Gets picked up by Carl. Carl pops the shadow kill under the turret. He's gonna get implosion and caught out though. He won't escape that as Pharaoh picks up a kill, but they're gonna force the fight under the tier 2 anyway. A stampede under the fight. Now Rise Crim will survive. Quanok just flapping away. Wings by wings. Sanji's not going to let him go. He's going to drop that lantern right in there. Takes a couple shots himself. Quanok flickers out, but he's going to get whittled down. And Sanji knows it as he picks up that kill.
Outplayed by Sanji. Really nicely done there. Forced out his flicker as well to try and turn the tide. I mean, Kornak, he just needed to land 2 more shots at the very end to guarantee the kill. So far, Ultra Legends, they're still grouping up a little too close for my comfort. But I need to talk about item builds. What is Dark Lord doing with his build? That's my biggest problem.
Yeah.
Why are we going and deciding, hey, I want to go for Brute Force Breastplate as my first item? Like, sure, I get it, you know, get a little bit of tenacity. Sanji gonna be in your face, gonna be a problem picking you up all the time, but like that movement speed ain't saving you, especially when you're dealing with Sanford alongside to kind of extend the CC.
Tsunami Slam once again. Rise Crim will pop the implosion, be able to catch him out. Sacred Hammer too. JP still alive. Fight going in anyway. Rise Crim finally falls, and they collapse down on him. Throwboy looking for his own option, but he's gonna get stunned, and he's go down to 3 fall for Ultra Legends. They have no way to fight in that choke point.
I think right now they need to use Pharaoh as a means to open up the map safely. They need Rice Cream to also open up the map. He's fighting some good, don't get me wrong, good implosions, but they need to stop Sanford from canceling the Feathered Airstrike.
Oh, having a final slash. Again, under the tier 3, Team Liquid does it again in game 2.
I mean, they're getting farmed at this point. Team Liquid, they've got their timings, and they know how to extend a lead. Ultra Legends need a mistake from Team Liquid if they want to bounce back. They need to catch Oheb somehow. They know that he doesn't have his Purify any longer, so with Rice Cream, Implosion plus Flicker, he has an opportunity to turn this around. A huge shutdown on Oheb could change the course of this game.
And it seems like a difficult task, especially when you got 2 Purifiers over here, a whole lot of displacement crowd control in Sanford alone, but then you have JP finding the right marks here. And mind you, you're down 10,000 gold again. So very difficult place to be in if you're Ultra Legends as they get ready to go ahead and defend against this first Lord push.
It's the checkmate angle, right? Oheb 6-1 and 11. They've got 35 more seconds to force a play onto him before his Purify is back up. And I think that Ultra Legends, if they have the chance, you might as well go for it.
Might be a Hail Mary play is what they have to go for. Flicker is up. The shield in the mid lane already popped. They hold on to this top one. But the Lord's going to make its way. And we've seen this before where Team Liquid will fight and force this situation on Ultra Legends here. Getting a glimpse at it too. I just, again, I don't know. Even their front line, whether it's Rise Crim or Dark Lord, will be taken out so quickly here.
Yeah, and Kornak finally getting the glowing wand.
Conceal going to be used. Is he actually going to initiate this Feathered Airstrike use? And they go in. Tsunami Slam. Meanwhile, Throwboy going against Carl Teasy with a shadow kill. Carl Teasy gets that. Joins the fight. Farah's gone too. They're collapsing down under the turret. Rice Crim the only one left. But that's going to be it as Team Liquid will sweep the series. And it's a maniac in day 1 for Oheb. The waves pushing on in as they go ahead and get together. And the stampede is true. A sweep for the series.
Disgusting play coming in from Oheb. His mechanics really just showing like, hey, maybe Harith hasn't really changed as much as we thought. You just got to be that good at the hero. But I got to give it to Sanford, right? Despite losing in the earlier stages of that game, he was pivotal. Oh, Rice Cream wants to try and go for something crazy, go for a Flicker Implosion. Final slash, cancel it out straight away. Feathered Airstrike, cancel it out straight away. He is absolute disruption in this case.
Okay, Oheb, I'm gonna stop being a Harith hater. That's it. That's my character arc. Done. I'm good. No more hate on the Harith. It feels like I just saw, it was like deja vu again. First 5 minutes, Ultra Legends clearly know what they want and how they want to do it. But once they get to the mid-game, past 5 minutes, past the laning phase, the power spike moment, they can't convert it into substantial map control or objective control.
Yeah, the conversions aren't that great for Ultra Legends, I will admit, but I think they definitely have some really good concepts going for them. The main issue that I am seeing is that when you have certain leads, the game doesn't necessarily always have to be a 5v5, right? And I think that's what they initially wanted to do when they had the leads, but that's when Team Liquid started kind of throwing bodies left, right, and center, right? Trying to instigate to see what the reactions were from Ultra Legends. And most of the time, the reactions weren't very good. Yes, obviously Sanford got punished because of these types of reactions, but later in the game, those final slashes, that was the big difference.
All right, that was the Game 2 end series in favor of Team Liquid against Ultra Legends. And in just a moment, we're actually going to be hearing from one of the key figures in the side of Team Liquid who played an incredibly great game, that game number 1. So we'll pass you on over to Eterna and Oheb.
Thank you so much, casters. It's Eterna here for the winners interview, and I'm joined today with the richest guy in MPLPH. Hello, Ohab.
Hi guys,
How are you doing today?
I'm feeling good.
Feeling good. That was a dominant match. 2-0 already, like 13, 14 minutes. That was very quick. How was that first match for you?
It was super fun and I'm super excited in my first match. So yeah, it felt great.
It felt great. What did you think about Ultra Legends, right? Because they're coming in from a region that is rising, and technically they were able to take down the MENA favorites. Was it like a hard match for you, or what do you think about them?
Yes, I think a couple more years and I think they can step up because I think their gameplay is very good. Like their micro is very good as well. Yeah.
Because we saw like in the early game, it looked a little bit tough for you guys, right?
They're very good in turtle fights, in skirmishes. They always take fights. When our junglers going on side lane, they always make us fight, you know.
So a lot of potential.
Yeah, a lot of potential.
All right. We haven't seen you quite some time, Oheb. The last time we saw you at MSC was 2021, is that right?
Yes.
So how does it feel to be back? What do you think is like the main difference from when we saw you in 2021 and now here at EWC?
I think because I have a new team now and it feels great being here again, and especially with my new team because it's so fun being here, yeah.
Was it hard for you with this new team?
No. Because they make me felt like I belong to the team.
Oh, that's so sweet. So, upcoming, you guys are going to continue your upper bracket run, right? Do you think you'll be facing CFU or Onyx?
I think we're gonna face Onyx. Yeah.
Okay, Onyx. Do you think you can beat Savero in the gold lane?
I don't know. Let's see. Maybe. Maybe yes, maybe not.
Let's close with a message for Savero.
Good luck, Savero. Train hard. I'm not gonna lose to you.
I'm not going to lose to you. So once again, thank you so much, richest man in MPLPH. And we're going to throw it over back to our casters.
Always great to hear from Big Money Oheb.
Big money.
I thought we were gonna walk away with that with like nothing to work with, but then suddenly he goes, the little message for Savero, and I like how we weren't just yapping here. Whatever we said is exactly what Oheb said as well.
Yeah.
Exactly what he felt about Ultra Legends.
They were, again, there is a lot of potential. I like that he mentioned that too, because I think for a lot of people that maybe, again, this is their first time seeing Ultra Legends, there's a lot of promise there, a lot of potential for them.
Yes.
I think they just need to hone in on, not tunnel visioning, especially taking care of that mid-game potential. And even the draft, like the drafting was great. I feel like the ideas are there. It's just, again, the execution factor. And hopefully they can figure that out quickly. After what a match, though. What a learning experience for your first match.
It is incredible first match, I'm not going to lie. I definitely think the Ultra Legends thing.
They were acting that they already had a high damage carry online and ready to go.
Yeah.
But then, as we saw early on, yes, again, you delayed the eventual power spike of the Team Liquid lineup, but then you didn't set up Pharaoh enough for success. Your one core damage dealer, again, Liquid's lineup has 3 core damage dealers on them. The Granger, the Farsa, and the Lancelot.
And that's why I say it was so, in a sense where you were allowed to be that trigger happy Farsa. You can just go ahead and drop down the feathered airstrike every single time it's up. And that's what trigger happy Farsa. You can just go ahead and drop down the feathered airstrike every single time it's up.
Going into what style you want to go
On that side, but I want to have the implosion.
Match, though, what a learning experience for your first. And hopefully they can figure that out quickly. After what a match, though. What a learning experience for your first match.
It is incredible first match, I'm not going to lie. I definitely think the Ultra Legends things that they need to work on, their second phase of the draft needs to improve here, because a lot of stuff that they had some good ideas, and it's not like their concepts are wrong, it's just that a couple of interactions they kind of like slip by. It's like, oh yeah, you have Aura on that side, but I want to have the implosion. Ooh, but it gets canceled out if you don't catch the Arlets, therefore.
When the world of business is constantly changing, you need to stay ahead. So what about AI to generate new possibilities? Machine learning to predict what customers will like. Or expand your business by forecasting delivery routes with real-time data. With the power of the cloud, imagine how AWS can transform your business.
This land is calling.
Welcome back to MSC 2025 here at the Esports World Cup. And for this second matchup of the day in Group A, it's Onyx, the Sky Kings of Indonesia versus a Cambodian team yet again. Because somehow, someway, Cambodian teams and Onyx seem to just keep drawing each other every major international tournament.
Hey, at least this time, like, the stakes aren't as high. It's like right at the very beginning. They get a bit of a fight to go on to kind of kick things off. And the energy here, crazy. I'm pretty sure that, again, these two quote-unquote scrim partners are extra excited to meet each other.
Yeah. I've never heard a battle cry like that.
I hope that was a battle cry. Hopefully you got to pick that up on your wherever you're watching from right now. But yeah, they are scrim partners, and history also shows that Onyx, they either stumble or they sweep the Cambodian team that they're going up against. I believe it was also in the previous MSCs that they saw each other. There's no in-between with these two.
Maybe that's, I don't know, just because maybe that's fate. I was going to say, but, you know, maybe that's just the way it is, right? But at the same time, they've been, you know, scrimming a lot together, and maybe that familiarity is going to play a part here.
Yeah, and when I saw that, actually, it's like it puts into context a lot of the reasons as to why we analyze the way we do when we talk about these two teams. Let's look at the Aramco power rankings here real quickly. What's one thing you want to give focus on, Gideon?
Hey, SRG OG untouchables! It feels good to have at least one Malaysian team up there after years of just being like, yeah, we're probably like dark horses or fighters.
Yeah, but now clearly untouchable considering you guys are the defending champions.
I was going to say, I think you just get to the untouchables after being the champions from last year, especially, I don't know, maybe you can say, like, have you seen significant improvement, like, over since the last time maybe some of our viewers have even seen SRG OG play?
Dude, it's really hard to say. It's hard to say because they played like the same comp the entire regular season, and even their like grand finals was an absolute stomp. So I'm more curious about quote unquote, because again, Onyx ID being put in dark horses is kind of crazy to a certain extent, but really when you watch that grand finals in MPL ID, what is the Yeb effect, right?
Yeah.
And that was just like a taste of it, not the full saturation of the Yeb effect.
Yeah, again, we have to talk about Onyx Indonesia, the champions of, well, Indonesia, clearly, wherein their journey here wasn't so clear-cut. For the first 3 weeks of their regional league, there were a lot of people saying, we might not even expect them in MSC.
Yeah.
They're not going to end up there. But then the Yeb effect that Gideon mentioned, their coach Yeb coming back in to the fold. Eventually, they're champions, winning 7 games against Araki Hoshi.
It's actually kind of crazy when you think about that. And, you know, a lot of people would go ahead and argue that Coach Yeb is the most decorated, obviously. He is the most decorated, but also the best coach out there because of the fact that what he's done. And for the instance of Onyx Indonesia, almost not making the playoffs was such a big thing. But then, yeah, I think clearly when he came in, and then you watch that playoff run for them, it's like, there's definitely something here in the sauce of Coach Yeb.
It really is, right? Because apparently he changes the vibes, you know?
The vibes.
I think, you know, with the players, and especially when it comes down to Indonesian players specifically, they need to make sure that the mood and the vibes are good, especially for like people like Lupti, Sans, Kiboy, and as well as Savera. If they are feeling good, the whole team is feeling good. And as much as you want, everybody's going to be like, oh, it's all about Kyrie. Sans and Kiboy has been such an integral part of this team, right? They are the only two who have not changed over these past couple of years.
Yeah, Severo making his MSC debut. Lutpi, Kyrie, Sans, and Kiboy coming back to the stage wherein they met a disappointing result last year against, you guessed it correctly, a Cambodian team that were able to put the nail in the coffin in their run last year. So those four, I'm pretty sure they're hungry to wipe that bitter taste off of their mouth from their performance last year.
And aren't they the only team that basically could be, what, 3-time? It's 3-time MSC winner if they get this one.
Yes.
Right? Are they the only team that...
Yeah. Just a quick reminder for everyone. Onyx in 2019 won the MSC tournament then.
2023 in Cambodia.
If ever they win 2025.
They would be the only team.
Oh, right. Yeah, they won it in Cambodia in 2023.
That's why it's funny because like we say that and it's always Onyx Indonesian somewhere in their fate is Cambodia.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how this has really developed for the team because when it comes down to like what I'm worried for the squad, I think that like the hunger is back, right? The hunger in their eyes compared to like I am just comfortable. Like Lupti during the regular season got swapped out and now is back in. Severo, who has been filling in the boots of funny enough boots of CW, is now really coming into his own.
Yeah, and so with Onyx already discussed, I think it's time for us to put a little bit more focus into the lone hope of Cambodia, CFU. The last time they were in an international stage, it was the M6 World Championship, and they just barely almost made it out of the Swiss stages. They dropped 2-1 against Team Spirit, then 2-1 against SRG. CFU have that on their shoulders.
Yeah, again, I'm excited to see Cambodia as a region continue to grow because every single time people start counting them out, they seem to be able to steal games from some of the best, right? Detective come back in. Obviously, I'm very happy for Oppie. He's like, yes, back on the international stage, one more time to try and make things actually work for ourselves. But at the same time, I am curious to see whether Boxy, CCCC this time, used to be Boxy the King, can do what he loves to do. Same goes for Wadu, but I'll talk a little bit about him later.
Boxy's been, like Boxy and Opie too, I mean most of these players, but Boxy especially is, I feel like maybe one of the more well-known names from CFU, Opie as well. They've played so much, so this, because Boxy comes in, I think that allowed Opie to go in the mid lane too. So this could be a dynamic shift that maybe people didn't necessarily see from the last time we saw CFU gaming.
Yeah.
But this is a big thing because if I remember right too, back in previous interviews with Boxy, like he is a character and he likes to lead if he has to. So now that he's in the Rome, we'll see if that plays a big part here in their first matchup.
Yeah, again, this lineup of CFU Gaming, very similar to the M6 lineup. Former mid laner Z is now sub, as their former roamer Opie had to go to the mid to make room for their new roamer in Boxy, who is, by all means at this point, a Cambodian legend. If you look at the regions all over the world, when you think of Latin American roamers, you think of Luis. When you think of Indonesian roamers, you think of Kiboy. In Cambodia, there's only one guy you'll think of in Rome, and it's Boxy.
That's why he was the king.
Yeah. Again,
I don't know what happened.
He has played for a long period of time within the professional scene. Same goes for like Opie. But I think that this time round, they're coming in with a new type of energy, and we're going to get to experience it against their own scrim partners, right? I think that really the matchup that I'm particularly looking forward to is going to be Luppi and as well as Wadu. Because again, Wadu has been interesting. There are times where he looks like an absolute god, and other times where he's like, is he kind of throwing? Like, he's been extremely volatile. And I think right now with the meta that we have, with so much flexibility, he can be a potential out for CFU.
Yeah, Coach, heading into this, and even Onyx, they admitted they are excited for this matchup against CFU. And I hope you are excited also for the happenings in MLBB in the game itself, because we have our MSC Pass available now for a limited time from July 18th to August 7th, and all of the MSC exclusive items are available there. You can get a 20% off for the entire period, so instead of 899 diamonds, you get 719 diamonds, and you get a chance to purchase the new skin of Nathan. I know he hasn't popped up yet, but I've won one game with it, and that's enough for me to say he's a really good hero, and he should probably show up because I won one game. And there are also the battle modes and everything. Every major international tournament, we have a lot of things to give away in the game that you can purchase as well. So please go ahead and check that out. I am excited to see what we'll end up with in the draft, considering that, let's just alone in the roam position, you have two incredibly prolific roamers who are known for being aggressive, setting things up. Kiboy versus Boxy. So that might just be one of the things we really have to take into consideration here. But before we head into the game itself, there's a quick little thing that we gotta show you first. So you can go ahead and watch this.
Halo, nama saya Gilang, role nickname saya Sans, role saya Midland. សួស្តីអ្នកគ្នាខ្ញុំបាន12មកពី CU Gaming លេងតែលើ role Midland. Bekerja keras juga untuk menangin turnamen ini, jadi yang pastinya saya pengen juara di season ini lagi, terus yang pastinya saya kayak kasih yang terbaik di setup match-nya dan untuk menangin turnamen ini lagi, terus yang pastinya saya kayak kasih yang terbaik di setup match-nya dan ya beri yang terbaik terus. ស្រាប់អារម្មណ៍ខ្ញុំពេលដែលបានមក AWC មានអារម្មណ៍ថាសប្បាយចិត្តព្រោះអីគឺវាធំខ្លាំងមែនតើបានថា world យកហ្មង ingat jauh-jauh dari Indonesia terus ke Riyadh cuman buat kita pulang pertama.
Melting down Boxy the King, the immortality pops. The terrified Onisari now Felix and Kyrie now is on the job being blocked the turnaround. And P the King, sorry I'm Felix with the flicker, look for Sans dances around.
Ya itu lumayan cukup sedih, jadi ya di tahun ini aku sama tim ya pengen ngebuktiin, jadi kita udah nggak mau pulang pertama lagi, kita pengen sampai turnamennya selesai. Jadi ya ditunggu aja. Yang aku lihat dari kita segi latihan, terus dilihat dari scrim juga lumayan cukup bagus, jadi ya sangat beda untuk pengen balas dendam. សម្រាប់ការរៀបចំប៉ះ Onyx ហ្នឹងគឺយើងរៀបចំហើយព្រោះអីថា player ទាំងអស់យើងធ្លាប់ប៉ះគ្នានៅក្នុង scrim ហើយគ្នាខ្ញុំទាំងអស់សិនអ្នកចង់ប៉ះគាត់នៅក្នុង tour ដូចគ្នា kasih yang terbaik. It's comeback time.
Now giving a bye-bye and giving away that damage to the rest. In the back line, they dive onto Samero of EMI backwards. Sonic! It echoes far and loud throughout the world. The crowd returns to its rightful place.
បើអាហ្នឹងវា motivate ដែរបានថាវាមិន motivate ទាំងអស់ទេវាមានមួយផ្នែកនៃការ motivate ចឹងដើម្បីឲ្យយើងឈ្នះ Onyx ព្រោះអីគេមើលឃើញយើងគេមើលឃើញតែ Onyx ចឹងយើងធ្វើម៉េចយើងជឿចាប់ចឹងយកអាហ្នឹងមក motivate តែប៉ុន្តែបើថាចង់ឈ្នះហ្មងគឺចិត្តខ្លួនឯងជឿជាក់លើខ្លួនឯងជាង motivate. We are the contender.
Self-proclaimed contenders from Cambodia against the, well, freshly recrowned Sky Kings of Indonesia. Two teams, two regions who have been bound by fate, it seems like, in the international stage will be our second match of the day. And I feel like that little sizzle reel just added a little bit more to the drama and the weight of the series. Yes, no one's going home today. It's not elimination, but considering the history between these two, the players involved, the regions involved, bro, this is no wonder why this is our match of the day.
I mean, considering how loud considering how loud that battle cry was earlier, like no stakes, but pride is on the line.
I like that they mentioned this too. You know, for Onyx specifically, it was a heartbreak ending for them last MSC, and clearly a lot of teams, I feel like not just them, but want to come back into this year with, you know, maybe a chip on their shoulder a little bit. They want to go and have a redemption arc of their own, and they've already had an amazing storyline back in MPL Indonesia. So let's see if they can replicate it here.
Yeah, for Cambodia, on the other hand, again, well, when it comes to international tournaments, you've already touched on it a little bit earlier, Gideon, wherein just when you don't expect them to go far, they get high-profile wins. It isn't always series. Sometimes it's just games, but all the more impressive nonetheless. CFU versus Onyx, game number 1. And right away, CFU are respecting a hero that, even though left open, has been banned a fair bit. They take away the Fanny, they take away the Lancelot, they're focusing on Kyrie.
Yep, they are focusing on Kyrie for the time being. I don't know what their scrims have been looking like because we haven't seen much Fanny from MWI, from Wildcards as well. I was hoping that this time around for the group stages that it would still be that priority pick at the end of the day, but maybe some teams have strayed away. We'll see as the tournament goes on. Farsa, the follow-up ban to finish off that first phase. Keep in mind, CFU on the blue side, Onyx on the red. Let's see how this goes, right? Because Baxia, alongside with the Uranus, is already gone.
Yeah, they are, and this is already going to change the course of what we saw from just the last match. And like I was saying too, even from, if you guys have been tuning in with us from Wildcards up to even MWI, you can already see that in a first match, some of those different picks coming through, and that's going to be the case here, it looks like, even so. So first priority, I guess, while we wait for this last ban over from Onyx, is going to still be what? I mean, the fact that they go with the Arlot ban. So what do you swing here?
Interesting. TFE has a Rush Kimi option, Rush 1-1 option, considering the Lancelot, Fanny, Farsa are all gone. You go Kimi or 1-1 for your first pick.
They can go Kimi or 1-1 for their first pick for sure. They could also go for the Kalia if they really wanted to. They kind of want to play a more pickup style of composition. The Arlot really feels interesting, right? Because I know that Wadu plays it for sure. I'm pretty certain that it fits Boxy's style of like pickoff as well, but we're going to start things off with the 1-1 as a strong opener for CFU. It's going to deter Onyx from actually looking to play those tanks in the first place, but I think that's what CFU want. Yi Shin finally gets let through, and now this is where things are going to get interesting, right? Because you have this jungler who's ultra fast, super fast farmer, is able to open up that map. Do you want to pair it up with the Zitian now that we see that Farsa is off?
That'd be a great compliment to a YSS if you go that way, you know? Not only does it give you an advantage just with map pressure, but like you mentioned, you can do quite a bit speed and rotational wise too, but they'll go with the Phoveus for now for Onyx. See what the response from CFU is.
CFU, they'll be able to get their mid laner before Sans can get theirs, and I think that's one priority they really want to put a lot of focus on, considering they banned the Farsa. Yes, you could say it was a setup for the 1-1, but in the bigger picture, it's also a targeted way of them being able to tell Sans, you're not going to be on someone who can set the tempo a lot. Maybe you'll be a little bit more utility. We want priority in our mid lane first.
I suppose, but then there's also like the gamble of, if we take Zitian, you won't have access to it. You don't get that compliment with Yi Shin. What else is really left on the table in terms of mid lanes, right? I'm thinking like Yve along those lines, but even then, I know Sans' pool is extremely deep, but a lot of these heroes have kind of phased out of the meta, keeping the mid lane really, really strict in terms of what the meta demands of it. We see the Fredrin, we also see the Kalia. I'm not seeing enough damage from the side of CFU just yet.
Yeah, it's like they're waiting for the mid to the late game on this one. It's really going to be dependent on what they end up with in the mid and what Onyx ends up with, but yeah, it seems like Onyx can scale relatively quicker. No mid lane picks yet. They go for the Badang instead. Nice-oo.
I like what both teams are doing. They're kind of just waiting to see what the mid lane picks are going to be for both sides. And that's what I'm saying. It's an interesting transition that we see from match 1 and now match 2. But nonetheless, I feel like both teams have that. You know, yeah, the YSS has great damage too. You're able to kind of disrupt things with the Badang that gets locked in. But just like we saw from Kalei in the previous matchup, your pickoff potential is going to be good. But like, you know, Gideon mentioned, your 1-1 needs time to build up. And then you have the whole, you got to be able to proc to the weakness points to be able to get the crossbow of Tang off. So how do you round that out? How do you round the damage profile out? And that's why I think the mid lane picks are so important. And we're going to see more mid lane picks probably banned out in the second phase.
Yeah, Onyx taking away this juice in. This is actually one of the favorite picks of CFU Gaming in the mid lane. If it would have been paired up with a Kalei and Fredrin, that means, yeah, they won't have a lot of damage, but they will have a lot of pressure, which is what CFU likes to play when they have the juice in their mid.
Yeah, but then we finally get to see signatures get to be banned out. I mean, there's just so much targeting towards the mid lane, which is now starting to be a little worrisome, because in terms of like raw scaling, like, oh yeah, you can sustain forever, but if you don't have the damage, you're eventually going to die anyways, right? Yeah. So I want to see how this really plays out, right? CFU, they decide to get rid of the Eve. Now we go back to Onyx. At this point, Zetian is almost guaranteed on their side, assuming that CFU doesn't ban it. So do they want to start diversifying in terms of what in their picks and bans? I personally feel that, hey, maybe get rid of some high-profile damage-style EXP laners.
Okay. Onyx bans out CC, and we'll see if it is the Zetian that's banned out here from CFU. This is interesting because I feel like this is maybe the most tested that the mid lane hero pool is going to be so far. So I'm really like sitting here as a mid laner myself. I'm like, what are they going to pick?
Yeah.
What is it going to be?
And at that point, although there is still one pick that Onyx can go for, they can still put a Kimmy in the mid lane. There's enough room for it. With Akulei and Fredrin usually play around the center of the map, that's one of the scenarios where we see the Kimmy picked in that slot. Either that or we'll end up with the likes of Lilia and Zask as a matchup in the mid lane.
That's true.
I think that it is. Oh, they're opening the question up to everybody, right?
Yeah.
So now CFU and Onyx, they're gonna look at this as like, man, Onyx, they kind of don't want to get Kimmy on their side. Zetian works out in their favor, but instead they go for Lunox. They go strictly for somebody who doesn't really force out lane priority, has one of the best late scaling mid laners in the game so far.
Wait, sorry, is there an option that this Lunox might actually go gold instead of mid?
What does that matchup look like? There is a possibility. I think their damage profile does allow for it. And then you don't have to worry about taking Purify because you have iframes to work with. I think there's a possibility there. There is a possibility there.
So that's the flex. That's could possibly be a new flex. And CFU, how do they respond to this? They still need their mid laner, obviously. So they go with the Kimmy and they get the Edith.
Wow, such a strong standardized composition coming in from CFU. Love it, love it. And they even got their own chant going. The Sharks are hungry. And let's see whether the Sonics are able to kind of stand their ground here, right? They basically got their potential flex here. I don't think there's any good mid laner at this point, unless they want to go back to like good olds like Loyi and stuff like that.
Valentina,
but there's not a lot of good ults to work with other than Edith and even and the Tsunami Slam, of course. But even then, it's like, man, how are we going to fight for priority in the first place? Because Lunox plus Zetian plus the Badang, Lunox versus the Badang, it's going to be a bit of a struggle, especially against Kimmy Kalia.
Yeah, a Lunox gold lane. And I think the surprise is the CFU showed up. It's very CFU. They can actually stretch out team fights that the old base composition of Onyx might struggle a little bit. However, there is the Izzah Chin on the side of Onyx that CFU really greatly need to respect. I will be enjoying this. Gideon, Naisu, you guys have more time to expound.
Thank you, Ranmar. All right, so now our second best of three is about to kick off here. Onyx ID facing off against CFU, and you heard it 2 times. Hopefully the mics picked them up because that battle cry is actually kind of sick. We got to ask them about that.
It's closer to us, man. I would be actually really impressed with the audio engineering if that doesn't come through. Again, it's so loud for us here in the studio, but again, can't wait to watch this kickoff.
Let's begin our second best of 3 here at the Mid-Season Cup 2025 here at the Esports World Cup live in Riyadh. CFU will be battling against Onyx from the blue side as Onyx will attack from the red. It's going to be a purple start for both of these junglers, but let's expound on the compositions, right? Because again, a very classic matchup we're seeing nowadays is Yi Shin versus some form of tank-style jungler. And usually what happens is that Yi Shin gets a couple levels ahead of their opponents.
Whoa, Sands flickers out, and that's a first blood for Opie. Keyboy will take a brunt of the damage, but he's going to be fine. Man, early start for CFU.
Very early start. And Boxy even committing the flicker to it. So really nicely done. Singh also using his Inspire pretty early on against Severo. He's trying to get an early lead. Severo just needs to survive.
Yeah. You know, going back to that as well, the YSS, I feel like in the main part is you always have that added benefit of vision, but then when you come to his rotation and his actual jungle speed, he should have an easy time against Detect if you're on the Fredrin, right?
Well, for the time being, as long as he doesn't get CC'd to the ground, right? If he gets hit by the energy eruption, that's when we start to have problems. As long as he maintains his traceless, it's all good, all fun and games. But now with the changes to the jungle, that it takes a little bit longer these days for these camps to respawn, there's a bit of dead air after the clear. And that's where mid suddenly becomes a huge priority. And CFU, they're ready for this, right? They've got Detective in position. Hopefully, Sans opens up the map, sees it, and now Keyboy getting attacked.
Okay, Keyboy gonna go ahead and slide on out. He's fine. The rest of the team's gonna respond though. Kyrie will take a couple shots off, but again, that's a Fredrin. The Turtle's up though, so this is where we get to see how they play this out. As they get in position, you expect the Fredrin to have control of this. It's CFU that's actually gonna zone out Onyx from this first objective, and it looks like that's gonna be secured for CFU. Sans, once again, will find himself pretty low. Look how aggressive Opie and Detective and everyone else is being. They're gonna force him off the purple buff. They go in, Keyboy falls, they get another, it's a double for Wadu. CFU knows the enemy and they'll go ahead and duke it on out on this side of the jungle. A triple already for Wadu.
Beautifully played from CFU. You can just see the hours of scrimmage time that both CFU and Onyx ID have given to each other. And CFU recognize, hey, we've got to lead, we must press the advantage. Severo might find a solo kill. What? It just goes into the air, seeing out of range.
Oh, Severo, he's gonna get just punished for that. I guess he thought he could pick up the kill, but doesn't have enough damage yet.
He should have been able to pick up the kill. It's just that last darkening shot didn't connect because Zing was just out of range. I think that Severo might have had to commit a flicker, but that would have felt so bad. Either way, he's still missing out on that solo kill. Kinda sucks. CFU now 5-0 against Onyx ID. This is going phenomenally for CFU Gaming.
Hey man, if it had anything to do with the war cry we heard earlier on, that might be the buff here for them in game one. Already 2.4K ahead. And with this kind of lead, this is going to set things up really well into even the next turtle here. So Onyx, they're going to have to find themselves building up, you know, from this deficit early on. Now, can they do that with this lineup? It might have to be a pick-off, a flicker, an aggressive play. Once again, going to be able to find the mark on Kyrie as Kyrie falls. CFU wants more. They're going to just jump in. They know the timings too. They'll take the purple buff.
Amazing play. Really great from Boxy's side. He sees the traceless. The turtle bolt gets thrown from the mountain shocker. It misses Boxy. Flickers in to yoink him and pull him out of position, knowing that he's got literally no battle spells to save him because he's the jungler. He has to take retribution. And with traceless on cooldown, it guarantees the kill with CFU Gaming corralling around that mid lane. It's working out perfectly, right? Every fight. Wait, hold on.
Oh, Boxy could be in trouble this time. Right now, enough damage. Onyx will get on the board. They might be in position to go ahead and secure themselves an objective. They desperately need this from the game getting too out of hand. Swadu up in the front side. They're going to spawn that out. He flickers forward with the onward and goes forward in. Two will fall from Onyx again. CFU is just on point with the fights and initiations. And now Sans in trouble. He has nowhere to go. He does flicker out. A good setup though, but still going to be alive. Now Detective on the backside gets a flicker out from Severo. He'll dodge that. But again, the objective going over to CFU.
Oh my goodness, Wadu is so good on these Earth Shatter flickers. He is a dangerous man when he has flicker in hand, making sure that Lupi basically was non-existent during that fight, right? He's supposed to be the one who buys time, but it gets chain CC to the ground. Right now, the coordination from CFU Gaming is immaculate.
Oh, again, this is a tough spot to be in for Onyx and Tunisia. It looks like sometimes, you know, they're able to go ahead and convert something, but then that was just one setup, one kill that they were able to get. They don't really have that many tools to go for a pickoff in comparison to what CFU has.
That's completely true, right? Again, you're expecting Keyboy to kind of get into that position. However, in terms of like raw damage, it really boils down to Kyrie, right? He's going to be the early game damage for now. Sans, yes, he can do some damage, but it's not like overwhelming like a Farsa or in this case, the Kimmy. It's just not comparable. Even Severo to a certain degree, he's got a bit of damage, but he really needs his items. And in terms of tempo, CFU Gaming, because of that initial purple buff steal, they know exactly where Kyrie is going to be 90% of the time, and they're utilizing that information to make sure that Onyx ID don't have an opportunity to actually attack. See, even making sure that they lane swap to ensure, hey, they're going to be playing for that Lunox now. Wadu, if you can clear these lanes, that's perfect, because we're going to get T1 down bot side.
Yeah, just as you say it, that's going to be fallen here. They're going to get in position for this third turtle of the game, last one. I'm not sure how Onyx is going to play that, though. Now, this time around, Keyboy, once again, he'll have the flicker to go ahead and try to set things up, but that might still be the case if Kyrie can't get in position and you're too worried about going down for that fight. Okay, there goes, Keyboy doesn't have the ultimate anymore. So this is a tough one to go ahead and fight because, again, you're lacking that firepower, and the further behind you get in terms of this gold again, an initiation with a Tsunami Slam. They're going to force the fight anyway, but Onyx will try to fight back, and Appraiser's Wrath finds a couple, but the crossbow of Tang will find Keyboy. Zing picks up, Severo in trouble as well, can escape Wadu, and CFU Gaming continues to dominate.
God dang, man, CFU Gaming. They're not here to mess around. They want to make sure that they are sweeping the floor with Onyx ID. Every play they have made so far is so good. They initiate immediately, baiting out the last couple of ultimates from the side of Onyx. Most importantly, Sans one. The Fury of the Phoenix is such a powerful tool when you engage, but it's also a great disengage tool. However, at the end of it, Zing was able to get into that crossbow of tank form to apply massive amounts of damage to Onyx ID, especially pre-8 minutes. So at this point, with a 6.8k lead about to turn into a 7k lead, CFU Gaming just need one more fight and one more tower to break into the 10k bracket.
This is insane of a lead and the start for CFU, but a phenomenal one at that. And Wadu has been locked in the entire game. Every single time he goes for that setup with the, if his flicker's available or not, he's on point with the Earth Shatters. Now they're going to fight in between the two turrets, forcing a flicker out, Tsunami Slam, easy pickup, Loopy falls. Meanwhile, up top, Kyrie has no choice but to push in that tier 1 turret. They need something and anything because right now CFU is taking everything. Tier 2 is going to fall in the mid lane as well. Everybody quite low from Onyx. They have no choice but just to watch.
Yep, CFU Gaming understand if we don't close out this game, the scaling for the side of Onyx ID is going to be a major problem down the line, especially with the Yi Shin on top of having the Lunox side by side. For now, if we have to break it down, I think that CFU Gaming, once they hit that 10k mark, it's going to be good. But the wave clear might be a little bit of an issue, right? CFU Gaming cannot start falling behind, and they can't let the game extend super late. The pickoff is going to begin. Again, using tempo. Look at this.
Wow, traction pulse into Tsunami Slam. Able to find one. Keyboy will jump in, but it's just way too much damage. Overloading Onyx as another pickup here for CFU. And the Lord is up. Perfect timing. They're all up and alive and healthy. They'll make their way to the Lord.
Yeah, CFU Gaming making sure that every interaction with Onyx is a winning interaction. That's how this composition must progress forward. And Onyx just starved out a lot of their resources. Divide and Conquer, says CFU, as they take this Lord while breaking the Holy Shielding.
Great juggling happening here from CFU. Very impressive once again. Start off to this best of 3 series. I think even Onyx is kind of just left wondering what's going on here. They don't, even if they try to stay under the turrets, they're forced to fight anyway. And that's why that Kalea from Boxy is so good. And this might be, again, the effect of Boxy going back into the roam role, allowing them to have that decision making on their side. And what a great showcase it's been so far.
I think we really just, unfortunately, Onyx ID just doesn't have much of an answer to the early game. They just needed to not interact, but CFU Gaming said no, force them into their position, force them into a position where they have to interact with them all the time. They can't run away from these fights, and neither can they disengage. So therefore, Onyx ID
again. Boxy jumps in with a Tsunami Slam, finds Loopy after missing the traction pulse. OP's gonna pick up the kill anyway. Boxy finally goes down, but Kyrie quite low, could be in trouble. They could clear out the wave up bottom. Mid turret already down, but they won't get more. CFU with a 12,000 gold lead. It looks like they're going to stay a little bit longer, but Onyx might have been able to hold on a little bit longer for this game 1.
I mean, the breathing room for Onyx ID is just running out. They're losing space. Wadu, keep your eyes on him. He's got flicker.
Oh, Wadu. Brilliance is going to be used. They're just trying to clear out the waves here as they do. So Onyx, despite everything else, will stay in this game.
That's a checkmate angle right now achieved by CFU Gaming. 12.3k, the biggest lead we've seen so far here at MSC 25. As we can see, even for Onyx Indonesia, how do they find an angle, right? Every single attack they have, there is some form of counterplay. Zing can go invulnerable with the crossbow of Tang, not to mention that she also has an inbuilt Purify, making it more effective against the raw CC coming out from the side of Indonesia. Boxy, whoever he picks off at this point is almost guaranteed to die. The damage coming in from OP is ridiculous. The stacks that he has, he's 6 and 10, 0 deaths.
Oof, again, Boxy, big enough threat. Jumps on in. Traction Pulse gonna find multiple members. A great setup under the base turret. Loopy gonna be able to fall, and it's a wipeout. A maniac for Opie. That's game one dominant for CFU Gaming.
Holy cow, Onyx.
That's game one dominant for CFU Gaming.
Holy cow, Onyx. They're going to be looking at that. It's like, okay, we deserve to lose that one. Our draft didn't have an early game plan, and every interaction we had for the first 5 minutes was just a losing one against CFU Gaming. I want to see how they're going to replicate this in game 2.
It seems like Onyx cannot shake off whatever is up in the air here in Riyadh in MSC. But CFU, I want to focus on them. Draft, gameplay, everything, aggression, the hunger. They are just so good. That's literally
what it came down to, man. Like, I'm sorry, I was not expecting this. This is not what I expected for game 1. It was so dominant from CFU. They knew exactly where to be every single time.
Yeah, I mean, this is exactly where the first stone was thrown, right? We saw that the early First Bloods did come through. A couple of mistakes were being made, especially when it came down to the mid lane. But let's say, even if that First Blood didn't even come through from the side of Sans, this purple buff would have inevitably still fallen into the hands of CFU, right? Decisions need to be made really quick. But CFU is, again, putting their foot on the pedal. I'm not going to give you the time to decide, right? You want to take your purple buff? I've already taken turtle, and now I'm in your face. You have to give this up. And that's what they do. Slow and steady, but they encroach on their territory.
They're encroaching. It's like a slow encroachment. You know the aggression is coming. They're not going to throw everything right away. But again, see if you have drafted similarly to what Team Liquid did in game number 1 against Ultra Legends, where in this lineup of CFU, actually, if you look at it, it's 3 carries. The mid, the gold, and surprisingly enough, the Edith EXP lane, which was a really great pick in the second half.
Wadu's insane.
Wadu's good. He is really good at seeing these angles and really extending the lead, which is why, again, we saw Onyx get rid of the Arlet, which kind of does the same thing, but a little more consistently and a little more often.
It's insane because the Edith, you wouldn't expect to get that kind of lead, but even when the flicker's down, like, you still have a window, which maybe some heroes, like even the Arlot, for example, doesn't have. You can just onward Earth Shatter in if if you find the right mark.
Yeah, and every time Wadu shows up in the map against Onyx, it's like they can just hear, it's like, oh, call an ambulance for Onyx, because here comes Wadu. It's like,
I get it.
Dude, that man is...
I get it.
Edith for Onyx, because here dude shows up in the map.
I'm not gonna lie, it has been a while, and it used to be just like the classic, hey, how are we gonna sandbag this Phoveus who's dominating the meta? Edith was the go-to. But even so, can we talk about for a second Opie on his performance?
Oh, let's go.
Because holy cow, he was walking out of that game untouched, didn't die a single time, max stacks on Sky Piercer, and was hitting some ridiculous traction pulses. Like, come on, dude.
Yeah, that last one was really, really good. And just to remind everyone, Opie, 8 months ago, was a roamer.
Yeah, and I love how the end of video that we saw leading into this was like him saying, we're the contenders. Because, dude, what a statement game 1 was as the contenders.
It was so clean. It's so clean the way that they played. And I love that from the side of CFU because it really shows maturity, but the level of polish that we saw on top of that, right? The fact that they aren't just throwing abilities, and that's another chant coming in from CFU. They are so amped up with this 21-3 victory.
I know what they had for breakfast. Something champions breakfast.
Do they usually have umali for breakfast, or is that just a dinner thing?
They really like the omelet station.
Oh, right, yeah. Like the omelets have been bangers too, where we are staying, but an ultimate banger of performance, honestly, by CFU. No other way to put it, it was a stomp. It was very clear where their conditions were at, where their eyes were at. They looked at each individual lane, tick that box. Looked at the jungle, tick that box. And after that, it was just up to Onyx to, again, as you two repeated all throughout the guys, just find a way. But how can you? You're playing a lineup, Onyx, that, yes, excels mechanically. It really shows off what Onyx does as individuals. While CFU just show up, what's up?
Yeah.
And we'll just walk all over you.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem really just boils down to the draft, right? I mean, obviously certain mistakes in the early game could have been prevented, like Sans dying and, Severo not getting in the trade back. I mean, if we take those out of the equation, I don't think it would have mattered that much, right? Severo dying here really doesn't matter because it requires him to at least have 3 to 4 items for him to be a dominant force when you're playing that Lunox, especially when you have Detective already building Radiant Armors, looking to get as much MR as possible. Same goes for Wadu here. But then we start to figure out that, wait a minute, their whole composition is designed around the late game. How do they even survive? Their wave clear isn't that good. Sans doesn't really scale on this Zetian. I feel like all of this was engineered from the get-go in the draft from the side of CFU.
Yeah, and I think now what we're seeing, as we see that traction pulse yet again by OP there to close out this game. It really seems like CFU have walked into this with all of their years of knowledge of being able to scrim and play against Onyx. That's just what it feels like. It's like CFU at one point just snapped. It's like, guys, we're going up against Onyx. We know exactly what to do.
And that's the showcased in game one. You know, it's not that they're actual enemies, but it's know thy enemy. I mean, they played and they scrimmed together so much. They're friends. They're friends. Know your friends. Maybe we can say that. Know your friends. You know. But they took it in the case of, we know exactly how to play against this. We know how to make this work. We know their timings and where they all want to be. But again, like, you saw how aggressive Boxy could be on a Kalea. I mean, the man was making moves that sometimes you don't really see from other Kaleas, and because of the fact that you have a traction pulse to back that up with, and then a lot of just other options, even the Frederick, like the Frederick alone, how do you find that window if you're Onyx to play against that?
A lot of questions up in the air here for Onyx of how they're going to be able to recover the series to force a game number 3. But all the spotlight, all the stars right now are aligning for CFU. Let's watch their journey heading into EWC at MC.
សួស្តីអ្នកគ្នាខ្ញុំបានពីមកពី CFU Gaming លេងតែលើ role mid lane សម្រាប់ខ្ញុំមក MSC ឆ្នាំនេះហ្មងគឺដើម្បីខ្លួនឯងហើយនឹងក៏ដើម្បីសងសឹក SRG ដូចគ្នាសម្រាប់ការ MSC ហ្នឹងគឺខ្ញុំចាញ់ទៅលើ SRG ហ្នឹងវាឈឺចាប់ដែរព្រោះវាមិនតិចយើងឈ្នះហើយប៉ុន្តែយើងនៅតែចាញ់នៅ match ហ្នឹងហើយខ្ញុំមក EWC នៅឆ្នាំនេះទីមួយក៏យើង focus លើ team ធ្វើម៉េចធ្វើឲ្យបានល្អជាងការ MSC ហើយរឿងចាញ់មុនហ្នឹងមកសងសឹកហើយផ្លេចឱកាសនេះ
Considering how CFU were just so close to making it past Swiss stage in the M6 World Championship, and I think this version of CFU is better, I think they might actually surprise a lot of people.
សម្រាប់ការខ្ញុំដូរមកលេង mid ហ្នឹងគឺ gameplay នៅក្នុង game ហ្នឹងគឺវាមានការផ្លាស់ប្ដូរពីដំបូងគឺលេងអត់តាន់តែពេលយូរទៅបានន័យថាធ្វើម៉េចលេងតាន់គ្នាចាំបានថា gameplay ពេលខ្ញុំលេង mid ហ្នឹងគឺរៀងលឿនជាងមុនប៉ុន្តែស៊ីសងទៅលើការ set ឬក៏ aggressive ហ្នឹងបានន័យថាស៊ីសងលើប្រាស់ដែរបើយើងហ៊ានសម្រាប់ចិត្តទៅលេងបែបខ្ញុំនៅមួយ CU ហ្មង moment ដែលចាំជាងគេហ្មងគឺ season 7 នៅពេលពួកគាត់លើកពានព្រោះអីពេល season 4 season 5 season 6 ហ្នឹងគឺគាត់បានលើកពាននៅពេលដែលខ្ញុំចូលមកទៅពេលគាត់លើកពានទៅ moment ហ្នឹងទោះខ្ញុំវាអត់សប្បាយចិត្តខ្លាំងតែនៅពេលខ្ញុំឃើញគ្នាខ្ញុំទាំងអស់គ្នាដែលលើកពានអញ្ចឹងគឺខ្ញុំមានអារម្មណ៍ថាសប្បាយចិត្តមែនទែននៅតាមស្រាប់អារម្មណ៍ខ្ញុំពេលដែលបានមក EWC មានអារម្មណ៍ថាសប្បាយចិត្តព្រោះអីគឺវាធំខ្លាំងមែនទែនបានន័យថា world យកហ្មងសូម្បីតាគ្រប់ team ទាំងអស់តែគេក៏ក្តីសម័យចង់មកឡើយហ្នឹង
That was CFU Gaming and their journey here heading into MSC at EWC. Yes, they are entering this as two-time, back-to-back champions for MPL Cambodia, Season 7 and Season 8. Now, if you want to be a champion in your own right, again, there is our beautiful all-star event happening in-game. It's going to be going all the way up until August 5th. Join the Dino Planet. By the way, there are a lot of people that actually don't know this. You can actually hop onto the Lord when it's marching and use that as a launching off point. There's like a little icon that you click. You can use that to jump. Those are just one of the many little hidden secrets that you actually... It's not a secret. It's in the... Just read the patch notes. Just read the patch notes, y'all. But yeah, join us for the Dino Planet All-Star 2025 event. Lots of goodies. And don't forget to try to go get that Bubble and Koopa skin. Are we at this point where... Do we really just have to tell Onyx to really switch things up in the draft? Is that the main problem they have to deal with right now? Okay, so it's a yes across the board.
Yes. Oh yeah, yes across the board because again, what were they supposed to do in that game, right? With the early game already collapsing, it's like, oh, I'm just gonna take the punches until CFU don't decide not to crack open our crystal or inhibitors by like, I don't know, pre-10 minutes into the game. I feel like that's being too generous.
I feel like it was one of those games where eventually when they found out there weren't any openings, they were just like, kind of like, let's get to the next one, you know? And yeah, because it was such a dominant game for CFU, and I think really when you've played enough against them, you probably just know like, all right, we lost this draft and we can't come back from this.
I feel like there has to be something here in all the knowledge that Onyx has against CFU that they could leverage because as we discussed earlier, it feels like that's what CFU leveraged against Onyx. The fact that they knew the Phoveus was so integral to the lineup of Onyx that was their bridge for the mid to the late game. Because as we've discussed before, Zetian is very utility based. She can only do so much to facilitate that. The Phoveus, once shut down, you have nothing to help bridge you into the latter portion of the game.
I think that a lot of it just comes down to like Kalia, the fact that Kalia got so far down into the draft in the first place, right? I think that was one of the big things that I was trying to figure out, right? Because both sides were kind of like avoiding it. Then Kimmy as well. Kimmy, we saw the Farsa get banned out very early on within first phase, and then Kimmy was still a big question mark, and then Zetian was still there. So the question was like, wait, hold on. You already see the Fredrin, you know they want to go for the Kimmy anyways. Then it becomes a trade-off of do we just completely shut down and collapse? Because they had to commit at least one ban to get rid of the CC. So that's why I feel that CFU really engineered it well. My big problem is when the Lunox popped up.
Yeah.
Was that
same sentiments?
Yeah, was that necessary to show it now? I get that like having a diverse amount of damage profile is always good, but you need something to kind of bridge you a little better, especially knowing that your mid lane is going to be really tough. Kalia, Kimmy, Badang, Zetian, like there is such a huge disparity there.
Yeah. That's what I didn't expect the Lunox to get put in the gold lane. Maybe it could eventually work. You know, again, this is only our second match for MSC. But yeah, I think the Lunox was the big kind of kicker for me where I was like, oh, I don't know if that was really good. I don't know if that's going to work out.
Part of me kind of wish that instead of that being a Lunox, although I didn't expect it to go with the gold, I wish they considered putting it in the mid lane instead. That could have been good with handling the pressure, but no point crying over spilled milk now. It's game number 2, and so far it's the exact same banning pattern that we saw from game number 1.
Yes, it's going to be the same banning pattern. I mean, it's exactly the same so far. It might start changing up here. Who knows? I don't know if CFU gaming is the kind that's like, you know what? If we're going to press our advantage, we got to keep changing it up every single time. Or are they the kind of like, oh, well, if it's not broke, don't fix it?
Yeah, I think there's a farce ban, and I don't know. Maybe this. Okay, there's the difference. You ban out the 1/1. Onyx goes that. So first priority here. The CFU just go with, for example, the Kalea.
They could go with the Kalea. They could go start things off with the Zushin. I mean, there's a lot of really strong openers. Yishin Shin also is a pretty good. Is a pretty good opener. We'll see how they want to kind of play this out. Knowing CFU and what we saw off of game number 1, I wouldn't be too surprised if they want to go along the lines of like a Zushin opening and then eventually get Fredrin.
Yeah, I'm a little bit more in that boat considering how much they love playing with that hero.
Oh, wait a minute. Arlet was also banned out in game number 1 from Onyx side. Arlet could be a strong opener as well for CFU.
Yeah, maybe that's why it was banned out. But no, CFU said, hey, our roaming goat is feeling it today. We're going to give him priority. You guys are Kalea.
Got mine for the day.
Got yours for the day. Hey, I'm pretty sure you could have... Bro, it's still a few more picks. You know what?
I've spent enough time with you analysts over here that I can bring up a couple picks.
Hey man, I'll tell you the secret. Just throw out a bunch of names and one of them's gonna hit, right?
Give us one more. Give us one more.
There's like 130 euros.
Exactly. just throw a bunch out. Just throw a wide net.
Fredrin.
Okay. Let's see if we'll get 2. Let's see if we'll get 2.
Oh, this is going to be 2 for 2 here. We got 27 more seconds until they start locking it in, right? I'm surprised that Onyx still is going to be more committal, but this time they changed their opening a little bit more. They're going to go with the Badang opening rather than just saying, hey, we get Phoveus, we win. You dash, we win.
So that's 2 for the day for Daisu.
I'm dancing. I'm dancing.
Hey, it's looking good, but
this is great.
I don't know if it's great just yet, right? Because now that they've locked in the Arlet, I would have preferred Arlet to be Jushin in this particular scenario. Yeah. But the Kalia kind of like forces it like we still need the damage profile, right?
Yeah.
We can wait for the Jushin later down the line, but then we look at Onyx side, they see Arlet. No matter where Arlet is gonna go, he's gonna end up in the EXP most likely. Badang goes very well against him. You get the Phoveus also does very well against the Arlet as well. I think holding the Badang here is great. There we go, the denial from Jushin. Well played.
And then do they ban out the Kimmy? does Onyx ban out the Kimmy so this
Hell
doesn't
yeah.
get picked up? Because I feel like that would be the smart choice for CFU if that goes through.
Yeah, they got to. Because if Onyx are considering Kimmy for that, that's a little bit too greedy for my taste already.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Izzah is just a good thing to build around. You save your gold lane pick for last to try to answer whatever CFU closes their draft with. I think they really just have to show their hand with the Roam EXP flex now already for pick number 4.
I'm all for it. I am all for it.
There it
Kimmy
is.
gets banned out as expected here. Now, from CFU side, I'm thinking of like different iterations of what types of damage they want to go through. Because there is the possibility that, hey, maybe Valentina might just be viable in this particular draft against Onyx because they might get some better ultimates down the line, or at the bare minimum, the Mountain Shocker. Zetian, really, really good. Because keep in mind, the pushback. She has a pushback. She has a stun. The only issue is that nobody really benefits from the MR shred. So it's not completely useless, but definitely underutilized in certain areas.
Right, so let's see what they're going to be considering for their ban. Lapu Lapu, they're trying to take away a confident Lutpi. I believe in MPL Indonesia, Lutpi was he was prolific with the Lapu Lapu for the previous season. So they're just respecting that. Interesting though that they decided to respect that before the Phoveus. Considering that Phoveus is one of those heroes that are very happy to go up against the R-Lot because he gets this passive effect a little bit faster with all the dashes he brings to the table.
I think that CFU need to get rid of Gatot. They get rid of the Gatot. They want to make sure that they can at least have a way to kind of keep on progressively escalating the fight rather than having to disengage as soon as the AOG comes out. That way, Boxy can still maintain a high level of priority. And keep in mind, technically Kalia as well as Arla can swap roles as well, right?
Yeah,
you throw
they
the
could.
Kalia into the EXP and then Arla into the support.
That'd be an interesting swap if they did that. So the CC's last
Wow.
ban, XP lane focus for CFU, and then Onyx went with the gold lane focus to go ahead and narrow those options down. So
I think Onyx might be able to take a page out of the book from Onyx, the Onyx team that competed in MWI and even Team Vitality. They can go Akai EXP. Sorry, I'm going to say it. I love Akai.
I'm down for it.
Yeah, against the R-Lot because we've seen R-Lot struggle against Akai EXP in the past because once you go in, you get heavy spun out and you completely have your flow broken.
Yes, not to mention that his Akai's base damages in lane is actually pretty good. And the fact that you develop your own natural shield already takes away the value from Arlet trying to trade freely against you. But here we go. We got the Phoveus. I think it's totally fine, right? You already have 2 dashes available. Well, arguably 3 dashes here. And that's totally okay, right? It just makes sure that the mid duo is confirmed. It's Badang plus the Zushin. Now, how does CFU respond to this, right? Because I'm expecting both Badang alongside with the Kalia to both take Concussive Blast. So really, it's the damage profile that's going to matter here. I think it's going to be the Zetian from the side of CFU. It makes sense. It's got the enough ways to kind of reset Arla to make him real strong. And considering how Wadu played in the previous game, I think he might just be another out.
and what about gold lane too? Because gold lane you still need a what's
you take a
left?
Ranger,
Harith? They go.
Oh.
I didn't think they would go with the Harith because I figured they would want some extra physical damage because this is a. I mean, you're lacking that, right? I mean, yeah, you have a little bit here, but profile-wise, and that's what we've been talking about throughout this entire draft, is you kind of expect, okay, gold lane, you're going to go with a physical damage dealer, but they go with the Harith instead. But let's not hate it, because we were talking about the Harith in the previous matchup, but Oheb proved us wrong.
I feel like there's a confidence pick by CFU. They're signaling to Onyx, like, we know we can win this game, that we know we can win this before the 14-minute mark.
Yeah, I mean, it's just to make sure that they could completely utilize every bit of Zetian's kit.
Yeah.
MR Shred, there is stun, there is a pushback, so every little bit of the kit is utilized. I thought maybe Granger, but again, here's where it gets dangerous, right? If Lupti gets far ahead, those dashes are going to start stacking up. He's going to get a lot of passive triggers, but there's a limit, right? If you have too many passive triggers, then you're not going to be able to do much. If there's just enough, then you can keep consistently resetting.
Yeah, if you're only joining us now, again, CFU has the lead in this series. One more win puts them against Team Liquid for the qualification match heading into the playoffs here at MSC. Gideon, Naisu, let's go.
All right, thank you, Remar. Once again, you heard it here first. 1-0 against the Indonesian champions. Cambodia is looking to represent CFU. You hear it every single time. This time, we got a visual on what that looks like. They are ready to play as we head on into the Land of Dawn for game number 2 in this best of 3 series. This is going to be a fun one. Detective on that blue side, Kyrie on that red side, both with a purple buff start.
Looking at this too, again, from game one, CFU started on a roll right away. They took it to Onyx from minute one. We'll see if they try to replicate that here. Might be a little bit different, but definitely, I want to see if Onyx has an answer for Boxy specifically. And yes, OP doesn't have his hands on the Kimmy, but they've got a lot of crowd control to go ahead and use. You can already see Boxy being aggressive and just trying to give some information over here. And this will be a little bit different too for Wadu. Now that he's got his hands on this R-Lot. Taking a look at the emblems here too. They're still quite tanky enough. They've got some decent damage, a little bit of mystery shot there too. A lot of impure rages, of course. The CFU still wants to go ahead and be pretty aggressive throughout this game. A little 1v1 action. Severo though, this time around, the bob, the weave, the Rhapsody. And there'll be a back four. Whoa, Sands though, this time gets first blood for Onyx.
Yep. So, in terms of the emblem setup, Keyboy decides not to take concussive blast, but instead wants to be able to kind of move a little bit faster with the help of the quantum charge. Helps with those rotates, helps to be able to move in and out of those fights. But more importantly, they don't actually want to push the waves. And Boxy, unfortunately, with that concussive blast, doesn't have a choice as they attack topside.
Oh, Boxy goes aggressively, will flicker out, but gets taken down. Kyrie picking up a kill, so way better start for Onyx in game two.
A much better start indeed. Onyx have adjusted their plan. You want to be aggressive, you want to punish your aggression, right? And at least for Severo, he's very comfortable in this Harris v Granger matchup. They played it for months because of the previous patch. Yeah. Now we go to the very first turtle.
First turtle still going to be CFU that starts it up. Wadu. Fury the Phoenix is going to be dropped down. Final Slash won't connect. They're going to jump in. Loopy though, Infernal Blast. Infernal Pursuit. One down, still going to be on. Loopy in trouble, trying to get away. Goes in with a Dark Wave. Gets enough health back, looking for OP, but finally will fall. CFU picking up a couple themselves, plus this objective, a hard-fought first turtle for the game.
Oh my god, Boxy. That was actually kind of sick. He jumps in, knowing that Lukti wants to get the passive stack on the Detective first so he can start using the Infernal Pursuit. Catches him mid-punch, and then the rest of the team chain CCs him. By the time he gets the Infernal Pursuit, Detective gets a free disengage. Let's watch this one more time, right? Because Detective is here. He gets pushed back, he sees Keyboy, and then Lukti gets knocked up and allows them to disengage properly because Sans can't cover Lukti on top of the fact that Keyboy is dead. So really good stuff here. It's these small moments from CFU which is making the difference.
Yeah, and in that, OP got taken out. Earlier on, he did have to burn the flicker, so Onyx will find something, and that's, you know, what you mentioned is anytime Keyboy can set things up, he'll go ahead and try to do that. Doesn't have the flicker available now too, but still Onyx holding on to a very minor lead. This is going to be one of those games too where the gold laners really play a part, as Severo has done a good job farming up. Sing as well hasn't gone down despite dealing with a lot of 1v1 pressure. This is like Gideon mentioned, the classic matchup that we're so used to seeing in the gold lane between these two heroes. So the teams for now are really just looking off pick-off potential, you know, around the rest of the map here.
Yeah, again, this is a very interesting matchup between these two gold laners, right? Because we've seen it many times, but it really boils down to the battle spells. Because now both sides don't have the flicker. It becomes a skill matchup, right? Severo must maintain a certain amount of distance to stay outside of the Zaman Force. Because if Sing dashes on top of Severo and commits hard enough, he will actually win out in this 1v1, right? Severo needs to make sure that he can poke out Zing and keep his health bar at a minimum, so even if he goes for the all-in, Severo with 2 Rhapsodies should be able to take him out.
Oh, Boxy gonna try to do something here. Purify's gonna be popped already, so Severo's gonna be fine. That is a battle spell down, so a little bit of an advantage right now for Sing to work on that Harith. We'll see if Onyx tries to go ahead and help out, but Turtle's going to be the next focus for both the teams here.
Yep, they're going to force out that top side, knowing that Severo doesn't have that Purify. Whoa!
Sans jumping in. We'll get the flicker out. Sing, though, going to try to cut it off with the Zaman Force, so that's going to be burned as well. A couple battle spells and ultimates, but meanwhile, the fight for this turtle. Onyx has control. Wadu there, final slash, but Kyrie will secure the turtle. Still going to be breaking down the fight. Wadu going to be in trouble, and Kyrie will get a kill as well. Takes a shot at OP. I don't think you get anything more. Keyboy not going to burn that flicker for that. So focus for Onyx is the objective. They get a couple kills. They won't get this mid turret just yet.
Yeah, all this because Wadu just whiffed the ult. That's really what it boiled down to.
Yep.
If he hit that ult, it would be a different story. Because he was left out in the water and considering that the front line was getting shoved in from the side of Onyx ID, making sure that Detective couldn't cover that space, that's how Onyx ID were able to take this turtle for free. But now back into the gold lane, right? Again, a lot of resources are getting thrown up to this top side. The fact that Sans wasn't really part of that fight to begin with just goes to show how important it is for both gold laners to have some form of pressure, some form of a lead to really skew it in their favor.
So close here too, despite, other than the jungle, which is, I guess, to be expected when you get a lead like this in Kyrie. Again, Keyboy gonna be fine. Tsunami Slam won't land. Boxy punish this time, and a kill goes over to Severo. Still the Dark Wave. Loopy jumping in. Force of Flicker. Fury of Phoenix will be used. No one else to follow through. So Onyx happy with one.
Yep, really nicely done there. Making sure, hey, you Tsunami Slam. Okay, sure, not that big, not a big of a deal. Loopy just flickers on out of there. Instantly punished, knowing that Boxy still had his flicker on cooldown. So just really good tracking of the battle spells from Onyx ID, right? Both sides will find any little bit of advantage. T1 collapses down on bot side, but now we are starting to see the ball roll. I'm not sure how Kyrie is going to go, but it looks like he's going to go for the BOD. He's real greedy because he's also taking cooldown boots on top of it. And not to mention, Severo already with the Sky Piercer, this is where Zing has to be careful.
Is this just because of like a confidence play? Zing, wow, going forward, Severo. He saw Onyx, the rest of the members there, so he's just going to clear that out. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to do much more, but that is no Zaman Force now available for this turtle. So Onyx might have enough of that information. Boxy's going to go ahead and take a look. I'm not sure if they're just going to rely on a Flannel Slash for this fight here. It's going to go for a little bit of a reset. Dark Wave. They go through. Zing going to have to join the fight. There's the final slash they were looking for. Fury the Phoenix dropping down. Keyboy, Tsunami Slam as well, but Kyrie still gets the turtle. Zing unleashing now, looking for Sans. Meanwhile, Loopy's going to be in trouble as well. Sans still up. The Zing can't get the last hit that he was looking for, but now it's Kyrie. Before he falls, he'll pick up a kill, and Wadu will survive. I don't think they're able to find Sans, though.
Wow, that fight. It didn't look like it started off well, but it worked out at the very end. I would love to see a replay of that fight one more time, because it really boiled down to Wadu jumps into the middle of the fight. Let's see how many people he catches with that final slash, right? He gets in there, the backline gets attacked, and that's where things start to snowball out of control. When both Zing and as well as Wadu are able to get their initial resets, because right now they're still pretty tanky, and there's not enough damage from the side of Onyx Indonesia to commit and spread it out and distribute it amongst a lot of spots.
Again, Wadu, I know we didn't get to see the entire play out, but he did a phenomenal job, too, at zoning Kyrie out. So Kyrie wasn't able to actually join some of that crucial moments of that fight. So, and then, survives it all after that with the flicker. So, great decision from CFU. So Onyx, they lose. They had about a 3,000 gold lead that they were working with. It's going to be whittled down pretty much to an even game here, at least economically. But right now, it's still Onyx with a little bit of a pressure lead, the way that they're playing around this, but I guess they've got to respect what CFU can throw at them, especially between Wadu and Boxy.
I mean, sure. I mean, the fights are looking good for CFU Gaming, but now, as you can see, the conversion isn't the most deadly, right? It's not like a 5k gold swing. It's only a 3k gold swing so far. And when we look at the items as already built, we're going into the second phases of the game. We're going into the mid game, right? BOD already complete for the side of Kyrie, and it looks like he wants to eventually build up to an endless battle. Lutpi, he's not even going for Thunderbelt at this point of time. He's literally anti-Cuirass. I'm going to be able to tank as much damage as possible. I really need to see the MR come through from him. And honestly, the anti-Cuirass is kind of strange. I would have liked to see him play the Thunderbelt from the get-go.
Yeah. Early initiation from Boxy. Fury the Phoenix to follow. They get the beacon out from Sans. Sans, a little bit low here, still half health, but that's a whole lot from both sides utilized for this. Lord is for the taking. They're fighting for control. CFU, there's a final slash on Sans. Sans goes down. CFU, numbers advantage, gonna be jumping into the fight. Wadu's in trouble. Takes a couple hits from Severo, but Loopy has to flicker out as well. Severo has all the room in the world to move. A shot comes out and Loopy upholds them together, but he finally falls. And now Kyrie looking for Detective. Wants to line up the shot, but doesn't have it just yet.
Oh, he's time.
Keyboy jumped in, but he's gonna get punished as Zing was waiting around the corner. An even fight for both.
Oh my goodness. All right, it's a battle of inches at this point, right? Both frontliners end up dying here. CFU, they do get a bit of a reset. Nobody's going to be able to take the Lord just yet. And the worst part is as these fights are going through, we start to see the micro plays, right? We start to see the efficiencies from Onyx side. Yeah, I'm down 2 kills, but look at Sakeva's Vera and as well as Kyrie's damage. They're through the roof. They're topping the charts right now. And even Lutfi, without any damage items, is still able to provide and contribute. The worst part about this is the fact that Detective is 2 levels down. They don't really want to take this Lord. They really want to fight Onyx because they know they will lose a 50-50.
Oh, Final Slash going to be used again. Keyboy can be in trouble. Keyboy out of the picture. Still going to be breaking out. Wadu goes down next. Loopy also half health. Falls to Zing. Now they're going to be looking at a huge Appraiser's Wrath on Severo. Will force him back, but the Lantern Flare will give a double to Severo. Now, CFU has no choice but to back off of this. Kyrie's still up, but they're going to fight under the mid lane turret. Sans in trouble, but they'll punish him anyway. And Kyrie now looking for another. They wipe him out. A great fight for Onyx.
Down to the wire. Sans able to get that final pickup, allowing Kyrie to come in and run through the rest of them. Even Severo able to stack back up. This is a fully built, fully scaled Yi Shun Shin. Level 15, his ult is on a short cooldown. Let's watch this one more time, right? Because this fight all started with Wadu actually picking off Keyboy and not one of the big damage dealers, which is what we saw the last time, right? We saw Severo dying early in that previous fight, but as this progressed, you notice they can actually kite 4 days.
Yeah.
There is no means for CFU to really extend their lead without the Arlet. Detective is great at planting his foot down and being an immovable object and slowly take space, but cannot reach further than it.
I think even that, when you get a glimpse of them, still pressing on the gas in the mid lane, it's like, you don't convert that kill on Sans, you are going to get severely punished, and that's what we saw there. Even then, Sans able to protect Severo enough to give him that opportunity to survive that whole thing was great teamwork there. So this now leads them to this Lord. It's going to be marching towards that mid lane. You can see the stacks here too for Severo.
So good. 560 natural stacks, 46 on the Sky Piercer. And now with this Lord, they're hoping to get as many inhibitors as possible. Keep in mind, they have the better sieging composition. CFU, if they want to take space, somebody has to commit.
Okay, they'll clear it out. Seal's going to be used. It looks like they want to fight. Boxy's giving them a call. Retri's going to be used from Detective. Boxy jumps in. Tsunami Slayer, no one to target. Fury the Phoenix already dropped down. Onyx might choose to counterplay into this. Loopy with a Dark Wave. Final Slash going to bring Loopy. He goes under the turret. A great combination. Onyx down 1 member. Still going to be looking for the fight. Severo will keep Opie in check. Zing. Very aggressive, but CFU will just find 1.
Nicely done by Detective. He saw that bar full. He knew that Lupe was going to come out of the out of the taunted state. And immediately, as soon as he made the mistake of pressing his auto attack, Detective hops over the wall to pull him underneath the tower. That's the way CFU Gaming, they understand they've got a shark on their logo for a reason. They are fishing for Onyx ID.
It reminds me of what LaFell mentioned about sharks and the noise they make. But, that's it. That glimpse of CFU, it's really the timing they need. We do see this, the Holy Crystal and the Divine Glaive are there now for Zing, and I feel like, he's pretty aggressive, and you can rely on the Purify here, but maybe that's just the way CFU wants to play it out. I think even as we get up to the next Lord here in about 40 seconds, still it's, they got to be able to withstand that initial kind of onslaught from Onyx. They've been the ones, CFU, from game 1 to now even game 2, despite even being down, to start these fights. I don't know if it would change much for them if they let Onyx be the ones to get the first get-go on it.
I don't think they can afford it right now, mainly because Detective is a level down on Kyrie. And we know that with these world-class junglers, that 1 level difference really is the difference maker.
Detective. They're going to force a fight anyway. Final Slash already used under the tier 1 turret in the mid lane. Still going to be looking for more. Detective finally falls. Sing sees multiple low health bars, but Severo just unleashes. Keyboy jumps on in. They're going to be able to take out Zing, but it's a double for Opie. A trade already 3 for 2. And Onyx still with Kyrie up. Do they go and take this floor. They're so low here.
Yep, they are low, but Kyrie is going to heal up. There's no actually, I don't think if they're able to do the... Oh, wait, no, Kyrie should have enough damage, but he's going to let Severo do the tanking. So once he's got just enough health, he gets back in and they start switching places. So nicely done from the side of Onyx Indonesia. Let's look at that fight one more time because I was surprised that they decided to fight here of all places. Why would you do it so close to mid-tier 1?
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, if they are going to start a fight, maybe not there. That's not the best place. So even if they pick up a couple kills, ultimately they now have to deal with the Lord.
That was very upsetting. I think that's one of the bigger miscalculations coming in from the side of CFU game. And even though, to be fair, their initiation wasn't that bad. And I could definitely see an angle. But the problem is that mid-tier 1 is still available. And that's what takes away from that power position hiding onto that mid-brush. Now, the siege is going to be a little tough, I'm not going to lie, but Opie did buy that Wishing Lantern. In terms of Zing, he's really, really strong, but he needs that space to take full advantage of that Examine Force so he can start chrono dashing around. Oh,
whoa! Boxy going to start the fight anyway. Keyboy gone. Lord's going to go ahead and march into the mid-turret. It falls. But now Onyx, do they still want to fight this? Even down a member. Severo's at half health. Boxy gonna jump in with Title Strike, and again, they're gonna force the fight anyway. Beacon already gonna be used from Sans, giving them the space to work with. They're gonna be able to find Wadu. Still has the immortality, but Zing, now once unleashing on Sans, they're gonna be able to pick him up. It's a double already, but Kyrie comes back in, and Severo's still up. The immortality will not be enough. And now it's Kyrie and Severo still inside the base, and it's Opie and Detective. Woo! Does Onyx want to end this game here? They've got a little bit of this minion push.
Nah, they can't. They can't. Not yet. Unless they kill Opie right here. Detective, please stand in the right spot here. Severo's allowed to auto-attack, and same goes for Kyrie to the Crystal, but it does basically nothing as long as they maintain these waves.
They're gonna go ahead and maintain it. Again, Detective, gonna watch out. Kyrie will go ahead and go for it anyway. Now they're gonna work on the base, and that's gonna be enough. Double kill for Severo. We're going to game 3.
Man, I definitely thought he had an opportunity to walk back into the fountain, but again, just not enough pressure. Well done. It really goes to show that Zetian doesn't really scale that well into the later stages of the game, but when you have Severo and as well as Kyrie on these heroes, holy cow. No frontliners, no problem. We'll just bulldoze through you.
Match of the day for a reason, and just when we thought we'd see CFU run away with it, Onyx gets it back, then CFU gets it back from Onyx, then Onyx eventually gets the death knell and gets the win. What a tremendous series, dictated by what is a signature of the Cambodian and Indonesian playstyle, team fighting.
It's really incredible the way that a lot of these fights came and the adjustments that were made. I think at some point, Severo and as well as Kyrie was doing his own thing. He was playing a little selfishly for sure. But Severo probably looked over at Loki and Keyboy is like, one of y'all got to die for me. Like as soon as that final slash is out of the way, I actually can play this video game.
Again, it was interesting to see the decisions that CFU made throughout the game. I feel like there was a couple moments where, you know, like this, when we saw this with Wadu around some of the objective fights, that was really interesting the way they took it, and there was some brilliance to it too. But then, same thing. It's like you get through the game and you still question, like, man, why'd you guys fight there? Why did Boxy go in for that Tsunami Slam?
Yeah, this game number 2 was a emotional and mechanical roller coaster. It was the highs of great job, good thing you did that, to why the heck did you do that? Back and forth, and that's the type of action that I personally like to see, where you got to see members of CFU shine at the right time and then falter and then get punished by Onyx. But then the same thing could be said for Onyx. I feel like at this point I got like, we aren't unanimous here, where we just gotta say you just really gotta sharpen up some of the decision making in the team fights for both teams.
Hey, I mean, it's overheat, big overheats coming in, specifically from CFU more than it is for Onyx. I feel like Onyx naturally were more consistently making the better decisions. I think it just came down to like a couple of micro mistakes of like, oh no, I have full charge, I'm Phobius, I accidentally hop over the wall, I shouldn't have been under tier 2, please somebody save me, sort of scenarios like that.
Yeah, that was a great mechanical call by Detective. To the fact that he knew that enhanced basic attack of the Phobius that would instantly be like we call it the shoulder tackle, would come through. So he's like, all right, let me just quickly press my dash past the wall so that he carries on over and then he gets punished. But then on the side of Onyx, you saw that at some point, it seems like computer switch flicked into the brains of Savero and Kyrie. It's like, these are very specific skills I need to watch out for. Watch us maximize our dashes to avoid them.
Even looking at the breakdown here of the game, like, I would say this is quite a stark difference from game one, obviously.
Oh, yes.
Onyx had a great time coming in this game. It was relatively, I would still say, sided towards Onyx, but there was clearly moments where CFU was winning portions of that game. It's just unfortunate for them because, and I don't know if even the Harith seemed to actually work out in some of the team fights, but then it's like, what if it was something different, you know? But I think, again, that interaction between having the magic penetration that you get with the Zetian, but then you have the Harith, it was the plan. And it was just unfortunate that even at some times they were down, you know, a good few thousand gold. So that could have changed the course of some of those earlier team fights, even so. But nonetheless, still very interesting. Yeah, like you said, emotional kind of roller coaster of a game for game two.
Yeah, and I was talking about it with the talents at the back. I mentioned something where this wasn't a game won by the draft or dictated by the draft. It was dictated in the battle preparation. The two purifies on the side of Onyx. She changed things up with the flow of battle for CFU, who were so pick-off dependent in the first game.
Yeah.
But now the second game, you have the Badang is still there, yes, who can just CC immune by popping up the ultimate. But the fact that some of your key figures have ways to just cleanse out the crowd control initiated by Boxer. You could see that CFU were a little bit uncomfortable in the initial phases of an engagement.
Yeah, I think it really came down to like you had to think about these fights like chess, and I think that's the hardest part because it's a stacking effect. When somebody throws out their first ability, then you have to kind of figure out what are the next things that are going to be traded out for resources, right? If I get a good Appraiser's Wrath here, if I get an Energy Eruption, what happens afterwards? And I think a lot of the time we did see that CFU understood the assignment, assuming that Wadu was able to get a good final slash on either of their back targets, whether it be Sans, whether it be Kyrie or Severo. But then you see the adjustments coming in from Onyx, right? As they adjusted, Sans doesn't mind getting pushed forward as long as he has his Purify and his Halt. Kyrie is the one who must not be caught. He's literally got no counterplay other than the Traceless. So it's all based on his mechanics, why he was selfish. And then there's Severo, who's like, yo, Keyboy, you better do your thing. You better start walking up because I can't afford to do that.
Yeah, and for Onyx, you see for majority of these fights, as the game went to the latter portion, there's always three members alive. Severo, Kyrie, and the Sans, who this time it wasn't a secondary carry. It's like a secondary peeler and roamer for the two dudes that you really need to survive.
That's what I was saying. I'm in one of the fights, it was clear, like Sans, because of the way he plays, the way he positions, and the threat of the beacon too, like, and the lantern flare, like, it's so good to be able to go ahead and peel or initiate if you need to. And I think Sans really played that part. Like, he was in a way a little bit of like a punching bag, but he had to be that guy in a lot of these team fights that broke out, and it allowed Severo and Kyrie to have the positioning that they had.
Yeah, I have a fun little fact for both of you gentlemen. So, as you all know, MLBB at the Esports World Cup is record-breaking in terms of viewerships, and we are actually breaking a record right now.
Right now?
1 million PCU has been advanced. There are over 1 million people watching this series right now. This Group A matchup between Onyx and CFU, our match of the day. We are at around 1,151,612. That is our current peak concurrent viewers. Thank you very much. Here is your code to redeem. 1 Game 2 Champs. Scan the QR code as well if you don't want to do the whole process, but you can do whatever. But again, thank you very much for joining us for what has been a pretty epic matchup so far, with Game 1 being shocker. CFU, they're so ready. They just absolutely stomped on it. What's going to happen in the second game? We get the emotional, mechanical roller coaster. And now I am even more excited for Game 3, knowing also that we have 1 million plus viewers watching us.
Hey, it's the best kind of games. It's not boring for our 1 million plus viewers out there. It's really interesting to see these teams like slowly make these micro adjustments, and that are very impactful in the game in very big ways. And I think for all of you out there, to our Cambodian as well as our Indonesian fans, keep supporting. Who's going to win this match? It's 1-1 so far. Do you think that the draft is going to change? Because I feel like the only thing that could spice things up even more is if this case, CFU is the one who ended up dropping game number 2. They take red side instead of blue.
I think that's the big difference. They swap sides, and then maybe aside from 1 or 2 of the heroes, I think we still see similar heroes banned. but they are going to we'll see if they swap sides.
Yeah, because I have a feeling here, if we're going to see the similar sides again, CFU blue, Onyx red, I think Onyx going to walk away with it. We've seen enough adjustments from there.
I think that CFU is more inclined to actually hold on to the blue side, to be perfectly honest here. I feel like Onyx don't mind being on the red side, but if they could be on blue, if they do go on blue, how does the priorities end up changing, right? Because does that mean, oh, now Lupti, guess he gets to play Uranus now.
Yeah.
Wow, so much fun.
Kalea.
You know what? I hope we do get to see a Uranus here this time. I'm starting to miss him. I am starting to miss him. By the way, we also have really awesome support chests available for you as part of our MSC event in the in-game client of Mobile Legends Bang Bang. Only 20 diamonds to purchase the MSC support chest. So if you still do not have the pass and you'd rather not get into that right away, you can use a support chest as a means to do that. At the same time, even draw the Atlas Rune Sentinel skin, the old MSC skin from I believe 2022. Yeah, he was it 23?
Oh wait, wasn't Farsa was
22.
2022?
Yeah, Atlas was the one in Cambodia.
Yes,
I remember.
2023.
A really awesome animation that we have there. So yeah, go ahead, check that out. And there's also up to 1,000 MSC coins that could be yours as well. So it's not just the esports side, the broadcast side that you're getting a lot of good stuff. In game 2, there's a lot of treats for everyone who loves MLBB. Game number 3, I like the discussion that we were on about the draft, changing things up. Remind me here, who gets selection for game 3?
It should be CFU because they were the recent team who lost.
Because they're the team that recently lost. So, all right, maybe behind the scenes, we can try to discuss a little bit more, see what could happen for CFU if they do go onto the red side and choose to go that for game number 3. But for now, we have to listen in on Onyx's story and the road to EWC.
Halo, nama saya Gilang, nickname saya Sans, role saya mid lane. Yang pastinya gue senang banget udah bisa berada di MSC 2025. Pasti senang banget lah, soalnya ini kan bisa dibilang turnamen yang sangat bergensi juga. Terus banyak player-player yang lumayan cukup berkualitas juga di sini. Yang aku ingat kemarin juga lumayan cukup sedih yang kita jauh-jauh dari Indonesia terus ke Riyadh cuman buat kita pulang pertama. Jadi nggak mau pulang pertama lagi, kita pengen sampai turnamennya selesai.
It's better than the Onyx teams of the past from Indonesia that just dominated. This time they were tested, they struggled, they rose above that, and I think that just makes better teams.
Berkerja keras juga untuk menangin turnamen ini, jadi yang pastinya saya pengen juara di season ini lagi. Terus yang pastinya saya kayak kasih yang terbaik di setup matchnya dan ya beri yang terbaik terus.
That was a Gilang Sans as the focal point there. Of course, we saw the one from CFU earlier where the focal point was the mid laner in OP. And it's good now that, funnily enough, we focus on the mid laners in terms of talking about the road to EWC, talking about the potential draft happenings for this game number 3. Gideon, you mentioned something to me about a mid lane priority matchup here because Zetian hasn't been doing that great so far this series.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to take it away from either one of these mid laners. They are good at what they do, but Zetian just doesn't seem to be the right answer in a majority of these cases, right? We've seen that so far in terms of her raw pushing power, especially in the early game, is kind of okay. You would like to use that more to trade against your opponents.
Yeah.
I think that Farsa might just be opened up in just a little bit. Don't worry, guys. Don't worry, guys. We're not spicing things up. We're just resetting it back down. It's a BO1 right now, and CFU kick things off with a fanny ban naturally.
And they're still on the blue side.
Still on the blue side.
So they still want to go for that. That's fine, I guess. But like you guys mentioned, I think for the most part, Onyx has figured out how to adjust throughout this draft. I mean, we'll see if we still see similar bans from them. They let the Arlot go earlier, game 1. They ended up banning that out. This time around, like you said, it's still the Fanny and the Lancelot. So, I don't know, is priority, like, do we still think that CFU is actually going to priority Boxy here, or do they switch things up? Because there's the Uranus ban.
Yeah, I think a slight switch up. Oh, I thought they would somehow consider opening up the option of not banning the Farsa and even going for a surprise Farsa first pick, similar to what we saw earlier in the day for Team Liquid. No, they're both leaning into what they want to do. So, real quick, CFU, do you still want to go for the Fredrin type, or just change up what you're supporting it with.
Like a straight up Kalia opener again? I don't know. I feel like the Kalia opener is always going to be safe.
Mm-hmm. And that is what they go for.
It is, yeah, it's usually what they go for. But at this point, what are they going to pair it up with? Because the last time the big problem was the fact that the adjustment from the side of Onyx was really, really good. They're going to go for Yishin Shin. I'm guessing they're also going to go for the Badang. If it doesn't, if it hasn't broken, why fix it, right?
Yeah.
And the big issue is the fact that, Onyx doesn't mind giving you priority, but they will tax you heavily as you are walking off. That is the big issue here that I see from CFU's side, because as much as you want Kalia to kind of top you up, unless you have a Kimmy on your side that allows you to be like, I have the early damage to fight back against you, then it's a different case.
I wonder if they'll end up taking that here, because there's the Badang, there's the YSS once again. Maybe do they take Kimmy in this first phase?
I wouldn't mind it, honestly. Considering that Kimmy does have the jetpack, the thruster, so that she can reposition a little bit. If she could somehow pair that up with Flicker, if it's available for her, that would actually be really great. That it might force out some early engagements. You called it again.
Yep. Thank you.
There's the Kimmy. And yeah, they do switch things up in terms of what they pair up with the Fredrin. Also going on with what Gideon mentioned with the mid lane pick for CFU. They get the Kimmy to pair up with the Fredrin together. And that means they can still continue the style that they've been playing without changing things too drastically.
Yeah, that's one of the main points I would expect from CFU. Because, again, some of the pieces of the puzzle that they showed us in Game 1 where they just won so dominantly, it was on the fact that they had the Kimmy that really helped things out. But I still think you have to see what the last two picks are going to be for them to make sure that they have, the damage profile there, the options of to follow through, even if they work against two Purifies, for example, from Onyx. You can see this, though, coming through finally is the CC. So that's going to be a pickup, which is, again, it's a popular pickup. It's a signature here, I would say, for Loopy even.
Yeah, and it's a good interplay of crowd control layering between the CC and the Badang. But the Badang doesn't always necessarily need to front. You can send Lootpi to front instead, have Kiboy go for the follow-up, and vice versa. And so now CFU has another layer of, we have two great tempo breakers on the other side, and we're playing around the very sort of slow-moving composition around the Fredrin. The CC pickup is massive for Onyx, and it might be the main X-Factor pick right now that CFU has to consider.
With all the adjustments that I've had within this first phase, right, a lot of it just boils down to just changing the order of what we pick. And I think it's a good idea, right? But the question now boils down to how many people are going to take Purify, right? Are we expecting CC to take Vengeance this time, or is she going to go for the Purify to try and protect herself specifically from getting picked off? Because keep in mind, a lot of the previous fights that we saw in game number 2, both Kiboy and as well as Lupti were priority targets for Wadu when he was on Arla, or sometimes if they were out of position, and that's when Boxy picks him up.
Yeah. We also have to consider that maybe Detective would want to be a little bit more careful with when he's going to dish out the Appraiser's Wrath, because if he's not careful, he might just eat a whole bunch of reflective damage towards him if you have the Vengeance up on that CC right away. He'll be wondering, hey, I'm going to hit you back. That hurt me too.
Yeah, I think the other part for Detective, though, is not falling too far behind, like in terms of the levels, because that seemed to be one of the issues that they had in the previous game, and what made them too just kind of choose that, let's just brawl it out. Let's just fight it out, because we don't want to go for the retribution battle here. So maybe part of that plan, part of that equation for them as we get through this last phase of these bans is allowing Detective to not fall too far behind. And maybe part of that too was Onyx just got those early kills in the early portion of the game that allowed Kyrie again to go ahead and scale up quickly.
Fourth pick. I think, this Badang is, mid lane. And gold now is what we're going to be looking at in terms of the carries. Should Onyx just try to go for a little bit more reach?
I think, I want to go for a little bit of reach. I mean, talking about reach, this is one way of doing it. We haven't seen Aloyi in a hot second. I was curious to see what Sans wanted to do. Especially when it comes down to the mid lane. Like, is this a scenario where you can actually play like a Chang'e? You're going to be playing, your traditional front to back anyway, so it kind of makes sense. But I think with Aloyi, very team fight oriented. But the recent nerfs is why a lot of people have kind of moved away. So I want to see how they're going to utilize it this time in the current patch.
I think for Onyx, it's because the thing about that, this feels like a team fight counter for CFU. Kaleas, especially Fredericks, do not like seeing the Aloy on the other side. Which means now Lutpi, Severo should be free to pick up the things like the carry for their gold, and maybe even the Beatrix, which pair up very well with Aloy.
Shots
Okay.
come through. Hilda, Bruno on their side. I mean, they want to go right into the faces of Onyx.
And like you guys mentioned, with a Louis Yi over there, I don't know how this is going to completely play off. I mean, again, we haven't seen too much of Louis Yi previously in the recent weeks, but maybe again with this last pick, you're going up against Bruno. What do you take here? Do you go?
They still go for reach.
I forgot Granger's still open, so why not give that into the hands of Severo again?
Not surprised with the way that they played it. I do kind of wish that Bruno was switched out for Beatrix.
All right, I just want to get your I wish that there was another consideration for the Bruno, but let's see what happens there. Real quick, Gideon, who are you leaning towards for this one?
Honestly, I feel like the execution for the side of CFU is slightly easier, and I'm going to lean more into their composition.
Naisu?
I'm gonna go for Onyx.
All right.
I don't want to be opposite of Gideon.
All right, to the million plus watching right now, thank you. Let us witness together who will be facing Team Liquid in this Group A at the 1-0 bracket. Will it be Onyx? Will it be CFU? Will it be Indonesia? Or will it be Cambodia?
Thanks, Ramon. We'll be bringing that sentiment into our upcoming game as we head on over into the land of Dawn. To the millions of viewers out there, welcome. This is match point currently for both of our squads. It is CFU on the blue side facing off against Onyx Indonesia on the red side. Once again, both teams refuse to switch sides. There are no traders, only warriors as they battle it out on first. Starting off with the purple buff. No surprises there.
Yep.
But I really wish that, you know, the Bruno was switched out for a Beatrix. There's just so many ways to get value out of the Beatrix. The raw burst damage, there's not a lot of sustain from the side of Onyx Indonesia. And even then, most of them are running with the flickers anyways.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because Beatrix just doesn't seem to be popping up much, you know, in general, especially back in the professional leagues and the qualifiers leading all up here on the road to MSC. It just didn't seem to be one of those picks that people like to go for. The Bruno, though, on the other hand, I guess in a way, too, it kind of gives you a little bit of a, oh, hold on, already? Gonna jump in with Title Strike. Keyboy, though, is there to keep things safe. So you go ahead and just disengage from that. But still, I think the Bruno is just more of the lines of, you know, you get a little bit of damage earlier on with the 2 items, still maybe the 3 that he needs. But I think, yeah, you need that later on, that Malefic gun that's going to be crucial in comparison to the Granger specifically, who has so much more range.
Yeah, I mean, they want their late game scaling, and I think that's the most important thing for them. With the crit build, it's just, oh, the damage is through the roof. And they got to be careful, right? Because again, all these rotations are being read very well from both sides. They know they're going to be on the bottom side of the map. They want to unlock this Hilda. But even so, Wadu, it's a pretty dead lane for the most part. Lupti isn't able to manipulate the waves without the help of his team. And that's why Keyboy is here, right? If anything gets a little fishy, he can kind of neutralize the effect.
Yeah, that's what the Badang does so well. Goes ahead and messes with some of the tempo, and that's what Boxy really wants to do earlier on this Kalea. But the first turtle of the game is going to be up, so it's CFU getting in position. We see this time and time again, especially with the Fredrin. But they'll go ahead and check things out with the Mountain Chakra, and they're just forced off. They just walk on up, force CFU back, and Kyrie will go ahead and get the turtle, but still, Wadu now on the backside, looking for the first blood. They take a ton of damage. Double flickers on out here from CFU. Still, Kyrie, one shot won't land it on Opie.
Okay, first bloods haven't been achieved, but I don't know if anybody realized that, but Sans did a very interesting move, and I think it messed with the minds of CFU, which is why they gave up so much space. And by the time they realized where Sans actually was, they couldn't take back the territory anymore. Looking at the emblem build so far, everything seems to be up to snuff, nothing too out of the ordinary. We do have common emblems being built up by Zing, not taking marksman emblems and not even taking assassin emblems of his own. He's not looking to try and win the lane. He's trying to not only survive, but make sure that he has enough mana to stay relevant. The Master Assassin's always going to be a good time, especially if we see Severo make a mistake. In terms of everything else, the only thing is lethal ignition coming in from Sans. He is not going for impure rage. He wants to hurt.
Yeah, I guess you want to do that, especially with Aloy Yi, who, you know, dealt with some of the adjustments that she's gone through, but it was well deserved. You know, Louis Yi and the chip for a while were on the top of some of the decisions, especially when it came to the macro play. But Wadu, Not sure if he's going to be able to survive this. Mount Shark are going to be used too. That's a whole lot of damage to go on through as Kyrie will pick up the first blood.
Really good punish here. Really good punish from the side of Onyx Indonesia. I mean, Lupti understood that Wadu isn't looking to try and shove out this wave super fast. And now that he's got that assist, he's got the lead, and more importantly, he's got the tempo, he can now start influencing the side lanes and rotating off first. Now notice, we do see that Boxy is coming down to try and push him out of the way, allowing Wadu to walk back into the lane safely, but he...
Oh, Zing going for the fight. No! He hit the minion! He flickered into the bush, but he hit the minion! Oh, that feels
hurts.
bad.
Oh, that hurts so much. And Severo, the best part, Severo didn't have any energy at all. He didn't have any energy to Rhapsody. He didn't have any energy to throw out another Death Sonata. He just was auto-attacking until the very end.
All right, now, second turtle of the game, going to go up. Onyx getting pushed out of this one. Tsunami Slam to bring him into the turtle pit. They're going to go for the fight. Vengeance are we going to pop to, but Sans will be able to pick up Wadu. A double for Sans already, forcing him off. And Kyrie gets the turtle on top of it all. So Onyx will come out swinging for that objective.
And now the snowball starts to begin. The smaller mistakes coming in from CFU game and getting punished hard by Onyx Indonesia as they crack open the most valuable structure in the game, mid-tier 1. And with that, we're starting to see what CFU did to Onyx ID in game number 2, but on the opposite side, Onyx has the timings, they've got the tempo, and Lupti is in a phenomenal position right now.
He's flowing right now, man. I mean, a lot of the... You said this because that's typical, too. When the CC gets a lead, even if it's a... Let's say you're getting assists, but you have that lane advantage, even built up. I think War Axe was the first item that Lupi went with. You kind of give yourself that positioning, especially around the objectives. I can just jump on in, use my current call, my vengeance, do what I need to do, and then the team will go ahead and clean up after that. And so Lupi's in a really good position to go ahead and provide that for the team. Meanwhile, too, if he's the target that gets Tsunami slammed, it's not that big of a deal for Onyx.
Yeah, and as long as he has that vengeance, right? Anybody with like quote-unquote burst damage or consistent damage really starts to suffer.
Boxy gonna go in once again. Purify's gonna be used though. So Sans is okay, but saying, look at this. This is the battle of the range that Onyx has right now. Oh, Severo so close to getting another one with the Death Sonata. Keyboy now has the flicker. Oh, he won't be able to find Sing. We're going to force him off on the tier 2. Kyrie will go on in. Sans is there now as well. Nope, he has to go back to base, but Severo will pick up Detective. 2 kills for Onyx.
Ooh, boy, this game is getting real spicy, and Onyx Indonesia are making sure that they are running away with this. A 4.6K lead 6 minutes into the game, and they want to take a tier 2 alongside of it. If they do get it, they will turn this into a 5K lead.
Oh, Lupi wants that kill on Zing, but he pops the vengeance. Won't be enough, though. And they go ahead and get on out with the diversion. The turret, tier 2, still going to be able to stand, though, with about a little bit of health left. But this next turtle is Onyx for the taking. That's going to be 3 for 3.
This is so good. I mean, Sans, despite most mid laners not wanting to play Loyi because of the new changes to that diversion, that it reveals the starting position but doesn't show your ending position, it gives too much info. So now he's using it as a mind game, if not a disengage tool. So what if you can see us? As long as the channel completes, my whole team can get on out of there. And the 2 other times that we've seen him use it, he does it in front of his opponents to keep them on their toes, to force them to double check the bushes that they had already cleared up earlier just in case.
That's why it's the perfect name for an ultimate, man. It's literally a diversion, you know, and when Louis Yi is on play, you really have to stay on your toes. You really have to be able to lock in and, you know how to play against this. So right now, Sans will take a shot. Also the mid lane, Wadu in trouble. Kyrie's going to be able to pick up a kill in the jungle. Still going to be fighting. Severo gets enough movement, and he will survive anyway. So again, Onyx will be able to find 2 against CFU.
And that is an econ diff. That is a huge econ diff. 5K now turning into a 6K lead. Honestly, if Onyx didn't have that 5K, Boxy probably would have been able to pick up Severo anyways. Wadu probably would have still died regardless, but even so, it's a very worth it trade for EXP and as well as gold. In this case though, Onyx currently 6 kills up on CFU Gaming, and they're now just waiting for the neutral objective. They're walking into enemy territory to deny as much econ as possible while still making sure that Kyrie has a very efficient path. 3-level lead, might I add, against Detective.
It's the same thing that I was saying, that we mentioned from the previous game.
Oh.
And even with that, diversion, they're going to go in for it. They be able to find $2. He's gone, and Wadu to follow. On it comes through with the diversion, and Zing has nowhere to go. He's going to just get run down. He's running for the turret. Maybe I can get a little extra gold before I go down as he falls as well. Onyx in control, and they'll take the Lord.
Yep, and even Kyrie committing his retribution, knowing that once he dies, then he has nothing to worry about. There's no way that Detective is going to walk up and try and steal this from me. Not with my entire team covering the entire map, making sure that this filter net doesn't allow CFU Gaming to take space.
Oh, the next target here is see if they can get some more resources before this push in with that Lord. Right now, they're staring down for CFU an 8,000 gold deficit to work against, and even with Keyboy's got the flicker available. If they want to force a fight in the base, they will. Boxy taking a couple too many shots. A Loopy will go in to clean up after the Destinadas all land from Severo. But now looking for more, still with a numbers advantage. Onyx ready to possibly push into this base fully here as Kyrie walks in with the Lord.
Yep, Onyx ID are clearly, they are in the driver's seat. They have momentum on their side. No way.
Oh, whoa, Keyboy jumps on into the base. He gets taken out, but they're going to force the fight anyway. Lord's still going to be up, and Zing is gone. Severo's unleashed. Still trying to hold on. Tsunami Slam to be able to find Loopy. Loopy will fall. The base could be locked on, but Wadu's going to be the next target. Severo still shooting off from the backside, looking for Detective. They'll clean out the lanes.
Oh my God.
But they still have minion waves pushing on in. And that's going to be it. Detective jumps on in. Severo will lock on, and Onyx will take the series 2-1.
Hey, a little disrespectful coming here from Onyx at the very end. If they wanted to finish it, they could have, but instead they're like, no. We're buffing up the KDs real quick. We got to show CFU. You may be our scrim partners, but we will not take this down while we're standing up.
What was a dream start for Onyx, for CFU in this series, turned into a nightmare as Onyx slowly readjusted, recalibrated from the drafts to the execution to showing CFU, we have you red. Yes, don't fix what's not broken, but you have to change what's already been read by your opponent.
I think it's all about tempo, right? There's such a big tempo difference between the two. I mean, Zing, this could have been his key moment right here. Severo literally had nothing left. He had no energy. He got 3 auto attacks because of the fact that, I hit a minion, I flickered into the bush, I still can't see you. And by the time I slide tackle in, it's too late.
Yeah, that's happened to me before, so I completely understand.
It happens to the best of us.
I'm joking. But yeah, nonetheless, I just think, Renmar really mentioned it. It was the adjustments that we saw Onyx made from not just the draft, because they were on red side all 3 games, but also just the way that they played around the map. They even utilized this time around a Louis who's not picked up too much, but they played the macro really well here.
Yeah, also the difference in the EXP lane picks. You have a Hilda who has to literally run to the back line, find a good access point, while Lutfi, we were discussing this back.
Ketika dia sedang melakukan diversion, tapi secara keseluruhan dia tetap akan bisa megang lawan dengan duality effect yang dimiliki oleh dan juga ini ada Cici loh. Cici yang dipegang dengan Lutfi.
Seluruh sobat Indonesia, mereka membuat CFU Gaming lulu lantah, hanya tersisa 2 orang yang tidak mungkin bisa
Ingat gak?
Cukup galak.
Iya, tadi bisa dia memaksimal segalanya dan semua pemain ditambah. Kita ngelihat dari segi
talent ya, emblem talentnya sendiri ya. Tidak ada perubahan yang banyak ya. Mungkin dari sisi tank sendiri ada 3 emblem tank yang dibawakan oleh CFU. Dari Hildanya yang aku kira ini akan jauh lebih agresif. Di game yang ketiga ternyata dia jauh lebih stay di landingnya dia. Karena level 2 sebenarnya ada potensi untuk dia jalan. Untuk bisa mengganggu yang lain. Apalagi melihat emblemnya dia kan emblem tank.
Ya,
tapi ternyata nggak jalan juga dan jauh lebih aktif. Tadi aku ngeliatnya Lutfi yang bisa pegangin berulang kali nih ya detektif.
Game
di tangan
1-2 tuh waduh yang jalan-jalan ya.
Iya, di game ketiga waduh yang adu banget.
Waduh.
Masih terlalu pasif dan ya sesuai dibilang Om ya, aku expect-nya mungkin lebih especially early game ini main invasif ke arah-arah jungle buka-buka vision, cuman tidak terjadi. Dan menurut aku yang cuman berhasil di take down dari 4 kill ini cuman Romer dan juga EXP lanernya. Jadi Suns-nya aman, Kairi-nya aman, Savero-nya aman. Ini ngebuat Onyx bebas banget farming dan juga ya ambil-ambil objektif.
Ya.
Dan ya itu tadi Hildanya ya kalau memang steady lane buat apa Hilda gitu kan, masih ada yang lebih bagus gitu dibandingkan dengan Hilda juga. Dan masih dengan mungkin jawabannya adalah di Fury Hammer yang dibeli dengan waduh tapi gak efektif dan efisien kalau dipakai Fury-nya cuma buat clear lane-nya dia. Dan Lutfi nih ya, vengeance power-nya dia tadi ketika diangkat dengan Tsunami Slam itu sangat aktif sekali. Sudah punya Oracle, sudah punya Brute Force juga, bahkan ada War X. War X yang menjadi enabler untuk Lutfi bisa berjalan keliling untuk mencari tanker-tanker lawan ada di mana.
Tugasnya Lutfi udah makanin semua damage, ngebuka, dan dia tugasnya emang bener-bener kayak ya udah semua resource sudah keluar biar teman-temannya bisa muncul.
Iya. Dan juga emblem support yang dibawakan dengan Keyboy tadi kan ya ini cukup berkorelasi juga ya dengan yang lainnya kayak Thunder Belt ada, Brute Force juga bahkan dia punya, jadi dengan adanya cooldown tambahan ya sangat-sangat menyenangkan nanti untuk Badang bisa melakukan spamming skill.
Iya, pembagian tugas yang dilakukan dengan berhasil di game yang ketiga. Dan Budi juga sadar bahwa kayaknya dari Onyx mereka udah tahu winning condition mereka di saat momen-momen crucial early game. Mereka ngehindarin dan mereka farming dan ketika dari Kairi udah menang dari segi levelnya, dia berani tuh battle baru.
Itu reparasi sih dari game 1 yang mungkin mereka masih ngetes mau lawan adu mekanik di turtle pertama, di game kedua enggak, di game yang ketiga mereka udah tahu lah dari powernya. Karena di game yang kedua pun ya turtle pertama Kairi gak terlalu maksa gitu, dan itu emang kalau ISS sama Fredrin ekspektasinya masih 70% Fredrin yang memegang turtle pertama. Jadi bagus repair, recover, dan reset.
Iya, tapi Indonesia kalian lagi happy kan? Karena kita masih bertahan di upper bracket tim Onyx. Tapi kegembiraan ini akan terus berlanjut karena kalian bisa ngedapetin nih, karena kita sudah mencapai 1 juta VCU. Dan kalian yang lagi nonton, yang lagi rame-rame di sini, Bude persilakan kalian untuk scan QR yang ada di sini karena kalian bakal ngedapetin banyak keuntungan. Caranya ada 2. Yang pertama tinggal scan, nanti kalian akan langsung dibawa langsung ke websitenya. Tinggal klik redeem code-nya. Dan kalau kalian mau lewat Mobile Legend, kalian bisa langsung buka akun Mobile Legend. Klik ke profil kalian lalu
ke setting ya kan, di sana ada gambar gear setting, masukin aja Canko.
Juara.
Lusa
ya?
Besok
grup B.
Tapi yang menarik adalah kita udah melihat performa dari kedua tim. Kita akan langsung fokusin kepada Onyx di mana mereka ini adalah perdana mereka di MSC 2025 Best of 3 series. Mereka habiskan 3 game Om.
Ya minimal bukan best of 2 ya, karena kalau best of 2 langsung seri. Skornya langsung kebagi kan.
Tapi kemenangan Onyx ini apa yang bisa kita pelajari nih? Momen-momen apa sih yang kayak wah gila Onyx ini membawa hal yang berbeda tahun ini?
Sebenarnya momen-momen di mana mereka bisa cepat untuk beradaptasi aja. Itu yang aku lihat ya, karena game pertama kan ya mungkin kayak tenggelam mereka, terus mereka bisa ya berenang kembali ke atas lah gitu.
Iya, sama mungkin kalau aku ngelihatnya udah lebih, entah kenapa ya, mungkin game pertama pick-pickannya lebih ngambil resiko loh, Lunok gitu. Mungkin secara teori mereka pernah coba dan works. Cuman ya itu, apakah kita akan melihat lapisan-lapisan hero lainnya yang dibawakan oleh Onyx?
Ya ternyata cuma fokusin menangin di laning untuk Lunox, menangin lawan one-man tuh gak cukup ya.
Iya, karena main 5 ya, 10 ya totalnya yang main, bukan cuma 1 lawan 1 juga. Tapi ya game ketiga yang memang berjalan dengan sangat mutlak sekali untuk Onyx sendiri, di mana power mereka gak ada yang kurang juga. Mereka Deliver damage dengan sangat bagus, dan meskipun mereka secara hero ya ini nggak terlalu balance, kayak mereka punya damage yang sangat banyak, tapi mereka mampu mengeksekusinya dengan sangat baik. Terutama untuk mungkin nahan-nahan dikit ya di area-area turtle, karena itu yang paling bahaya ya kalau kegulung di sana.
Ya, ini momen-momen akhir dimana akhirnya game ketiga kita ngeliat ini real Onyx nih. Onyx yang seram, Onyx yang rapi, tanpa celah, dan mereka akhirnya menunjukkan ini udah kekuatan Onyx belum di game ketiga?
Full powernya kalau bilang belum sih.
Belum dari Goni?
Kalau aku bilang full power Onyx ya belum.
Berapa persen nih kalau dari
70
Goni?
lah, 70 lah ini yang
Udah
kita
70?
lihat. Ya 70 tapi kan belum 100.
Oke. Berapa persennya nih? Om Bang ngeliat Onyx, ini kekuatan Onyx dari MPL Indonesia ke sekarang gimana sih perbandingannya?
Menurutku masih so-so ya, kita belum melihat adanya peningkatan yang signifikan. Ya 11-12 lah dengan ketika mereka jadi champion, cuman mereka bisa lebih. Tapi masih belum dapat sekarang, kita masih harus nunggu dulu nih.
Soalnya kalau dilihat dari hasil agak sedikit was-was buat perjalanan nextnya untuk Onyx.
Sangat,
Ya nggak sih?
sangat. Apalagi kan lawan tim Liquid yang bersih banget tadi ya. Ya secara mungkin ya, Goni sempat mention, mungkin lawannya tim Liquid di bawah ya kan. Ya tapi kalau kita berharap lawan yang terus buat mistakes, kapan jagonya gitu.
Ya, tapi banyak hal yang berbeda, banyak hal yang terjadi, dan kita semuanya tentu happy banget. Let's go Indonesia, semoga one game to champion, dua-duanya dari Indo.
Hopefully GF all Indo ya.
Redemption?
Apa ya?
Dari Onyx.
Iya.
Itu dia.
Ya kan, mereka butuh redemption. Karena mereka haus untuk membuktikan diri, mereka haus untuk balas dendam. Tahun lalu, tahun yang sangat pahit untuk Onyx. Mereka sudah harusnya belajar banyak dan ngeflex banyak hal, memainkan hal-hal yang unik juga. Kayaknya di tahun ini Onyx butuh pembuktian lagi nih. Tapi tim lain juga mulai ngejar.
Pasti sih, kalau tim lain pasti ngejar lah ya. Semua gak ada yang pengen jalan ya. Semua pasti pengen lari juga. Jadi hopefully ya kita dari region Indonesia juga ya gak cuman jalan di tempat gitu atau jalan santai. Kita juga harus bisa lari, jadi ninggalin yang lain. Dan ya ini akan menjadi salah satu ujian sebenarnya juga ya untuk region Indonesia yang tiap tahun cukup berharap piala internasional. Ya. Ujiannya sekarang gitu. Karena kalau kita lihat dari divisi yang lain kan kita udah jadi champion di sana. Ya.
It's okay. Meskipun
Jangan pressure, tapi it's not a pressure. Main tuh harus lepas, tapi harus tetap percaya diri.
Harus, dan Onyx mestinya dari sisi pengalamannya mereka, dari mereka mungkin dari secara region ID juga sangat-sangat kuat. Mereka percaya diri, pasti sangat-sangat percaya diri. Meskipun ya opening game mereka tidak maksimal, mungkin malah kalah, tapi at least mereka a win is a win. Dan mereka selanjutnya akan melawan yang kuat. Jadi kita lihat dan tetap terus dukung tentunya ya tim Indonesia.
Ya, belum sesuai ekspektasi, tapi hasilnya sudah membuat kita happy.
Iya, tapi aku bisa bilang juga tim yang lain pasti ngelihat kan ada potensi. Onyx bisa kalah kok dengan ini. Mereka bakal bisa ngejar gitu loh. Jadi itu.
Aku ngeliatnya Onyx masih kayak cek air juga sih. Mereka kayak udah gak mau ngeluarin banyak hal juga. Mereka fokus kepada yang udah dikeluarin, udah gitu aja.
Benar, dan draftnya juga kan tadi gak terlalu jauh beda ya buat lawannya nih. Lawannya kan masih pakai Fredrik, kayak gitu-gitu semua. Fredrik Kalia. Jadi ya kita harus sebenarnya lebih ke bagaimana nanti mungkin lawan dari Onyx berikutnya nih. Apakah memang bisa juga nih untuk mengganti gak cuma membawakan satu draft aja. Jadi mereka gak one dimensional gitu.
Tapi lebih seneng lihat yang begini atau perubahan signifikan? Oh udah kalah ganti yang banyak atau gimana?
Kalau aku ngelihatnya ya balik lagi ya tergantung preparasi. Karena terlalu berubah juga kadang-kadang malah bisa backfire. Udah mending nyari yang aman-aman aja kayak tadi. Bahkan Kyrie ya YSS aja. Kalah tetap YSS.
Mungkin karena gameplaynya yang belum maksimal aja seperti di game itu. Tapi kita melihat 16 tim akan beradu. Dan kita akan melihat juga bagaimana semuanya dari para talents memberikan power ranking. Para talent itu maksudnya kita bertiga ya?
Iya, benar. Dia ya. Aramco power ranking kita ya.
Yes, Aramco power ranking.
Wah, beda-beda nih aku lihat-lihat nih ya.
Beda-beda.
Clara Monster, RRQ, Omawa, Onyx ID, Goni,
TLPH.
Kan gak ada TL ID.
Iya, TL.
Tim Liquid. Tadi mainnya dan itu ngebuktiin sih mereka pantas untuk menjadi top Om Bowo nggak masukin top 3 loh. Kenapa lebih Onyx ke PH Om?
Karena sebenarnya mereka reign-nya itu di luar dari regionnya, karena mereka kalahnya baru region sendiri.
Kenapa Onyx yang pertama?
Onyx ID yang
Onyx.
pertama, karena ya mereka strong banget di region kita gitu.
Kenapa Goni memilih Liquid
Ngeliat dari patch ini sebenarnya ngebantu mereka dari banyak aspek sih.
Oke. Dari banyak patch-nya kayak mereka banget ya.
Nah, kita harus tanya nih berarti nih, kenapa Clara mau start di RRQ?
Karena Bunda Clara melihat RRQ dari yang kemarin-kemarin banyak, itu pada bilangnya RRQ itu kalahnya bukan karena lawannya, tapi karena diri sendiri. Dan itu membuktikan bahwa mereka punya mentalitas juara dan ini saatnya mereka menunjukkan diri. Ya nggak sih?
Jadi kayak ini ya, kayak kompe ya berarti ya. Jiwa yang sangat kompe sekali.
Iya, tapi kalau di kita SRG OG dan banyak sekali yang sudah tentunya belakang-belakang ini. Om Bowo gimana?
Aku homeboy sekali yang belakang kan.
Oh iya.
Homeboy.
Di dua Malaysia. Tapi surprise Indonesia. Most wanted Habibi. Di sini ada Adi. Adi.
Halo.
Apa kabar?
Alhamdulillah baik.
Baik ya.
Match 1 capek nggak?
Kenapa capek?
3 game.
3 game.
Oh, enggak sih. Justru kita enjoy every game lah.
Tapi enjoy gak di game 1 kan kayak point killnya gak di enjoy sama sekali gitu loh buat kita yang melihat kayak serem.
Oh ya mungkin namanya game ya ada menang ada kalah kan. Cuman ya game 1 mungkin kita ada beberapa miss yang ngebuat musuhnya terlalu snowball sih.
Musuhnya terlalu snowball, apakah salah satu alasannya Lunox? Yang kita tahu Lunox butuh item untuk baru benar-benar spike.
Enggak sih, mungkin kayak emang early kita yang banyak miscalculate. Tapi ya normally it's happen lah, karena ini first match kita juga kan. Jadi ya ibaratnya mungkin belum panas dan ya game 2 game 3 kita udah dapat atmosfernya, dapat momentumnya dan that's it lah.
Berarti sesuai yang kayak aku bilang itu game 1 dihitungnya pemanasannya gak sih?
Bisa dibilang begitu. Karena first match juga kan di internasional lagi.
First match, first game. Tapi keadaan anak-anak gimana untuk hadir ke MSC?
Yang pasti yang kita bawa untuk mentalitinya kita nggak mau kayak tahun lalu. Karena kan ada beberapa anak, 4 orang bahkan yang pernah ngerasakan pahitnya di sini kan. Jadi ya itu mentality yang kita bawa sih. Jadi mereka sekarang udah lebih siap dan lebih enjoy.
Savero gimana sebagai anak baru?
Sebagai anak baru dia pasti sangat support 4 lainnya sih.
Oke.
Berarti dia ke bawah juga?
Iya, karena anak yang lainnya enjoy dan mereka udah ready dan confidence, mereka jadi ke bawah. Savero jadi ke bawah.
Jadi ke bawah, semangat juga.
Lawan si FU 3 game. Kamboja kuat gak sih?
Nggak tahu sih, kayaknya kita setiap turnamen internasional jodoh banget kayaknya sama Kamboja. Dari MSC 2023 harusnya kita ketemu Kamboja terus.
Bernext Flash ya.
Ya, Bernext Flash, Yusun atau siapa, bahkan sekarang Shifu ya kita dibilang kuat, mereka menurut kita selalu kuat sih di setiap turnamen karena kita ada sempat kalah juga bahkan tahun kemarin. Tapi overallnya mereka lumayan berkembang lah.
Tapi tahu kan, itu ada boxy yang tahun lalu mulangin kalian.
Emang iya?
Lah.
Aku nggak tahu sih. Oh ada ya.
Iya, ada boxy yang hari ini kalian lawan dan kalian turunkan ke lower bracket.
Gantian ya boxy.
Tapi nextnya berarti kalian ini ketemu dengan PLPH ya berarti ya?
Iya betul.
Nah ini ngeliat dari permainan kalian dari match tadi nih ketemu dengan Kamboja kan lumayan shaky nih ya mungkin ya. Nih kira-kira ketemu dengan TLPH bakal jadi sesuatu yang bisa kalian, apa sih senjata utama kalian nanti untuk ketemu mereka gitu loh?
Yang pasti kita punya banyak lah untuk dari out game dan in game, dan untuk ketemu TLPH yang dibilang lagi strong dan kayak tadi strong star lah ibarat start gitu kan. Ya kita sangat ready sih karena kayak berkaca dari kita MSC 2023 juga itu kan Echo lagi kuat-kuatnya kan, dan kita ya ngalahin mereka gitu. Jadi ya yang kita bawa mentality kita sih.
Nggak perlu ragu dan nggak perlu takut karena dari hasil tadi kan jadi banyak yang meragukan. Aduh, Onyx bisa nggak nih ngelawan TLPH?
Justru kita seneng nih gitu ya.
Oh iya? Bisa nggak? Of course apa nih?
Ya kita seneng kalau diremehin.
Oke.
Berarti saatnya meremehkan draft kalian tadi kayaknya agak berat ya 3 game ya?
Iya.
Emang iya?
Menurut kalian gimana ngeliat draftnya?
Enggak sih, karena emang kita selalu pakai apa ya, ibaratnya hero yang kita latihanin, dan kita kan di patch baru ini juga ibaratnya banyak yang kita explore kan, kayak tadi Lunox Godland or masih banyak lah yang kita inin.
Oke. Tapi last word untuk TLPH dari Coach Ardi apa?
Apa?
Pesan-pesan buat
buat mereka. Untuk TLPH, let's go have some fun and let's give a good game.
Oke, kok anteng banget. Ini nggak seperti Onyx, tapi inilah dia kemenangan untuk Indonesia. Onyx berhasil melaju ke babak selanjutnya dan thank you banget. Kita akan kembali untuk match yang ketiga.
Guys, just trust me, okay? We just have to follow the MSC history footprint.
Is MSC behind this year? As in Saudi Arabia?
Yes.
Why are we trekking through the jungle?
MSC started off in the tropics before it started to take over the world.
Yes.
Oh, guys! This symbol, it matches the Cuban frequency. I think we're getting close. You guys hear that? The format is calling me. I can feel it in my gut. Not your guts. You just skipped breakfast.